All right, good evening and warm wishes, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Game Dosage Podcast. This is your intergalactic bringer of holiday cheer, Invader Claus here, and hey, I'm ready for another amazing show, fellas. Glitcher, unfortunately, was pulled away from the show, something to do with Jack Frost and reindeer, but hey, you know what? We're gonna have like a really awesome time, and we still have the same usual panel members. Oh, and I hear myself echoing, and I got this on. And
turn that shit down.
Yeah, I gotta turn it down. That was totally me. But yes, and hey, we still have the same amazing cast as usual, and we're joined by two of our friends of the show, guest panel members, Mr. Boomstick XL. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, great. Actually, had a great weekend. Real happy to be here, the Christmas episode, and let's get into these amazing new topics.
All right. Well said. And of course, joining us from across the pond, Mr. UK Dazarus. How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on, Vader Bro? Yeah, last minute, I said, get me on the show. Here I am. I'm only here to talk dirty with Primal, baby. You know this, mate.
Of course you are.
Do it.
Of course you are.
All right. The man, the legend, UK Daz.
Well, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Now, time to introduce the panel. Now, his humor and wit, now he gets us giggling and jiggling more than St. Nick's tummy, Mr. Noof Nukem.
My humor and tits like a big old tit. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, Dazzy's here, man. We got Boomsticks, so it's going to be lit. It's going to be a great panel. I think Stinking Corpse might be popping in here shortly. So there you go.
Yeah, it's popping somewhere else at the moment, Newfie, baby. Don't worry about
that. And by the way, so don't go knocking when Dazzy's stocking is a rocking, okay? So there you go.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good show. Chat, what's up? Lady Fuck Fire, Indie Gamer, Shizno, and the rest. We'll get to everybody in a bit, but let's get back to the intro.
All right. Next up, this lady is always an allure under the mistletoe, the enchantress Miss Primal Eve.
Oh man, I'm very excited to be here tonight. I know last episode I said I couldn't wait for Santa to empty his sack, and he just unloaded all.
I'm fucking right here, baby. I'm right here.
This is like the best Christmas special ever, so I'm very thankful for that. I can't even think about our topics tonight, but we'll see how they go now that Daz is here. Yeah, I might be lost for words this episode.
We're all getting lumps of coal after this episode.
Yes.
Ho, 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 indeed.
It's already started.
Yeah. All right, next we have a shadowy ninja warrior that makes us wonder if he's naughty or nice. Jago Kukin.
Hey, well, if you talk to my old lady, I'm both and what I need to be, but I am glad to be back, brother. Got internet this Monday. The snowstorm last week was a bitch and was fucking with my internet, something horrible. But I'm glad to be here with you guys, man. I always love the Game Dosage Podcast on Monday night, brother. Let's go.
Hey.
All right. And lastly, a person that lights up the cast more than Rudolph's nose, the Red Menace himself, Mr. Proto Foxy.
Man, you always have such great lead-ins for me. It's so amazing. Hello, everybody out there. I am rewired because I was tried to be hardwired last week and it just wasn't happening. So let's bring on some Christmas cheer for this show. Kick those tires, light them fires. Let's get it on the road.
Exactly. Well said, my friend. Time to squeeze here for some Christmas cheer. Invader Claus says so. All right.
Nice.
So, on to...
Humbug.
Yeah, of course, Mr. Bah Humbug there. Okay, so we're going to start with our first topic. Some big news over the past day or so. Rumors flying and articles popping up about Xbox's next console iterations. And it seems like a multi-pronged approach. And these rumors state that there are going to be two consoles being prepped for the 2020 launch, apparently. The first is codenamed Lockhart, and it's supposed to be touted as almost like a successor to the Xbox One S, a more affordable next-gen experience, supposedly. And then you got the second console, which is codenamed Anaconda, and it's billed as more of a powerful option providing cutting-edge technology and experience. So I ask the panel, Do you believe these rumors? Do you think Xbox will take this approach? And yeah, does this how does this make you feel? And I'm going to start with our first guest, Mr. Boomstick. Take it away, my friend.
Wow, well, thanks so much for starting with me. I actually have a lot to say on the subject. You have to look at it from a couple of different angles, or point of view angles, if you will. You see, we know that Sony in this generation, we know they had two different consoles, but if they could have, they would have remained with the one piece of hardware. And it looks as if, from what we're hearing, that the PlayStation 5 is going to be it. It's going to be a very powerful console, supposedly. Now, again, this is only, grains of salt being thrown around, that some devs actually have PlayStation 5 dev kits, and they're saying that it's a monster. Now, I don't know if they're trying to be funny, but that's what they're saying. So if those rumors are true, it appears that Sony is going to go very traditional in the next generation and put out a monster of a system, which is great for anyone that's going to buy it. I'm one of them. I'm going to be right online, day one to buy PS5 whenever it comes out. Whereas Microsoft is taking a much broader approach. You see, what Sony did in this generation was appeal to the casual gamer. And with the near 90 million consoles that they have sold, a very high percentage of that, maybe you can even go as high as maybe 65-ish% of the sales of the console are not hardcore players. They're all the casual, that giant casual market that buy 2 or 3 games per year. So what does Microsoft have to do to combat that? Well, of course, they're not going to relinquish the power crown. Phil Spencer has already said that. So they need to go at it a different direction and appeal to a broad, spectrum of gamers. The hardcore gamers, everyone on this panel, everyone that's in the chat right now, we're all buying the $500 plus system. The premium, availability of the next Xbox is what we're all going to buy one way or another. You're going to have your semi-casual market, that's going to probably go with the S version of the next, version of the console. And of course you have and this is where it's going to get really good. You talked about just those two. We also have to keep in the conversation is Project X Cloud, which is that $100 to $150 deck of cards that's going to allow you to play Xbox games, everything new running through the cloud. So they're actually technically going to have 3 SKUs, and it's going to be a mass appeal to every gamer. So I think that's the route they're going to go.
All right. Very, very interesting take there. Definitely makes a lot of sense, especially with the approaching PlayStation 5, as you alluded to. Noof, do you have any thoughts on this? What's your take?
Yeah, well, Microsoft is taking it serious because they're whipping out the big snake for next generation. There you go, Anaconda.
That was my child life of primal, Newfie, baby.
Primal getting all excited up there now. But look, bottom line, you know what? It's almost surprising this really hasn't been done prior to, if you think about it. Because look at the automobile industry, for example, right? You go to Ford or Chevy or wherever, they have, it's not just one SUV on the lot. They've got 4 or 5 different types. And why do they do that, right? Because at the end of the day, they offer something for the luxury person, they offer something for the middle class, and they usually offer something for the lower end who just wants a vehicle to drive without spending the same money. So essentially, this is basically what Microsoft is doing through a console format, is giving somebody a console for everybody, for every budget, for every type of gamer. And it makes a total sense, right? Because at the end of the day, you make money by selling games. You make money by exposing your product to as many people as possible. And for years, consoles have always been a barrier for some people. It's why you look right now, right? Consoles are selling like hotcakes because like at Black Friday, right? $199 moves consoles. It moves them really crazy. And they're not stupid. They know this. But unfortunately, with the cost of new technology, it's very, very tough to hit the entry-level price without sacrificing something else. Obviously, the disk drive will probably go. A few other things will go to reduce the cost and reduce the barrier. Like little Jimmy at 12 years old wanting to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, they really don't care if it's 4K and fucking runs at 60 frames. They just want to play. They just want to play their favorite games. For example, does anybody give a shit if Fortnite runs really good? It's the most popular game in the world right now, right? But nobody really cares what it looks or runs like.
12-year-olds.
Hell, they're playing it. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, Microsoft is trying to hit as many audiences as they possibly can. Boom said it already. Everybody here, we're not going to dip in and get the fucking $100 or $200 console. If we did, it's for a secondary unit or whatever. We're going to go up and we're going to get the big dog, right? We're going to go and drop our coin because we want the best performance. We want to have the best product that company puts out. So bottom line, I'm not really surprised. You know, the rumors are kind of making sense. I don't know what PlayStation's really up to, what they're going to do. They've been keeping things tight-lipped, but they might have to go all in, because as it looks with their side of things, they look like they're coming up with the one SKU, and probably that's all they're going to have. Or Microsoft, at the end of the day, like I said, they don't care how they get your money, and they don't care which console you buy, as long as you're buying their product and you're buying their games, and you're buying, most importantly, buying into Game Pass and all of the services. And Microsoft, even if they don't sell as many per console, they're going to nail you for the money. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters to these big companies, is how much money they put in their coffers and how much their stock market prices rise. And Microsoft is poised to be a leader next generation.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of integrates and we see their final plan, especially when you got stuff like Project X Cloud, how that's going to be integrated. They got a really multi-pronged attack here going on from the looks of it. I'll be just curious to see how it goes. Jago, do you have any thoughts on this? Do any of these interest you, like a lower price console that's like more entry level to the next gen, or the more expensive Anaconda?
Don't shout, Jago. Don't shout.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I've heard 3 code names: Scarlet, Anaconda, and Lockhart. Okay. I mean, unless I'm crazy, you guys have all heard those 3, right? Those 3 as well, right? So, I'm thinking it's going to be the streaming box. You know, unless just Scarlet is the Anaconda or whatever. You know, we don't know yet. Thinking Scarlet's going to be the streaming box, and that's not for me. That's going to be for people that were born, I'll say, and I hope I don't offend anybody, people that were born like 2000 and after. Like all they know is the digital media, and that's all they care about is digital. That's fine for them, and it will work perfectly great for that type of demographic. Not for me. Not for some people on this panel. The Lockhart, man, it's probably going to be like a little bit more powerful than the X is now. And if way I look at it, why would I buy the Lockhart when I got the X? The X is a beast of a machine. Anybody who owns the X knows it. It's the most powerful console out there right now. But there's, I mean, and if it's $300, but if it's $300 and you've never bought the X, it's gonna be great value. Say it's 7 teraflops with all the new architecture, the Vega and the Zen architecture, whatever in it. I mean, it will perform better than the X. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a mid upgrade from the X. You know, and if anybody who has, like I said, you're not really going to go for the Lockhart, and the Anaconda. It's for like everybody else has said so far. It's gonna be for us hardcore gamers that don't mind spending the extra coin to get the most value out of our dollar, to get the best, the 60 frames per second, 4K most of the time, and that's where I'm going, because as soon as the X announced, I knew I was buying that because I bought the Xbox One X or the Xbox One 2013 day one for Killer Instinct and Scalebound. Damn it, anybody who don't like Scalebound. But I mean, and I felt like the X was worth it, and we all knew that the Xbox One was behind the PS4, so I wanted to go and get the big boy and the X. And if you're a hardcore gamer like all of us are on this panel, you're going to go for that. But Microsoft, I think it was Noof said it, maybe Mr. Boomstick too. Microsoft is hitting every corner of the market for every gamer, and that's the way you need to go in today's society in 2018, because a lot of people don't want to spend the money on or get the best. They're not hardcore, and a lot of there's a lot of people out there that just go and pick up a console at Walmart or your Best Buys, and they don't give a shit as long as it says Xbox or PlayStation on it. They don't care. But I think Microsoft is positioning itself to like actually just like dominate the gaming industry, in my opinion, moving forward. And Sony, they're doing well. But unless Sony, they gotta, I think they're gonna have to catch up or like change their ways of thinking. If not, I think they're gonna be left in the dust.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting to have like you got a lower tier box that's kind of entry level. You got the box that's gonna be the whole power push, your prime console, your staple console.
Well, like I said, anybody was born, let's say after like 2000 or say 98 or 2022, whatever. Especially after 2000, the first time they're really old enough to realize what a gaming was, they're like 8 to 10 years old. The internet was a big thing already then, and the further we go in time, streaming and that's in the cloud, cloud service, that's going to get more popular as time goes on. So that's where that little Scarlet box, I'm calling it the little streaming box, calling it Scarlet. That's where that's the demographic. It's going to really catch the attention.
Absolutely. It's just interesting that they're even considering these multiple SKUs. I'm definitely interested to see how this goes down. Primal Baby, what are your thoughts? What are you interested in? More like entry level, power?
Yeah, she's definitely interested in that.
No, but how do these rumors work for you? What are your thoughts?
Damn you, Taz.
I'm at level 10 already, baby.
My wallet says entry level, but the fact that there are options is really ridiculously good. Like Jago, you were saying that Microsoft is trying to cover every single thing, including people's wallets and including people's devices. If your fridge had a digital screen on it, I bet you there's a game that you can get through Microsoft. Like they're trying to cover every single thing possible, and I think that's awesome.
It is.
It's just the fact that even if you're not a console gamer and you only play on your phone, you still have that option. So these rumors are probably not rumors, and it's a very smart move on Microsoft's part.
I don't think they're rumors, honestly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I really don't think so either.
It's not a rumor. It's not a rumor at all.
It's not a rumor. I'm saying a rumor.
Well,
Arnie says so.
Supposedly they come from credible sources, according to our friends at Windows Central and a few other places, that these things are real, and they got code names. And yeah, I mean, they could be coming to fruition really soon. I mean, next year, or is it 2019? Supposedly they're aiming for late 2020. So hey, next gen is quickly approaching, fellas.
Well, that's what
everybody, welcome back, Stinking Corpse. Hey, Corpse.
What the fuck is that?
If anyone was going to notice, I was fucking saying. Hey,
oh my god! There we go.
In the back.
I noticed.
Jago noticed, and Noof noticed.
Stinking Corpse!
What's going on, brother?
Thought I was going to be on the whole panel just in chat, but up here.
What's up, Stinky baby? Are you reloading?
Maybe. What's up, guys?
Good to have you here, brother.
Right on, man. I'm glad to be back from that fucking stupid little shopping run that I had to do.
That's not what you call it.
Be honest about it.
That's the code word, right?
What? What was that, dude?
I said you went out and picked up a PlayStation Classic, was it?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, sold all his retro consoles for that.
Yeah, and one in the box.
No, he was looking for those Soldier Boy consoles, but we'll get to those later.
I was looking, trying to find them Chinese knockoffs, but
Soldier Boy there, ho!
Oh.
All right, but since we got you here, Stinky, what are your thoughts on the two codename consoles here? Do you think Microsoft's doing the right thing by having these multi-pronged approaches, supposedly?
I don't see the problem in it. Like I think Noof was saying earlier, you go to a car lot, you're going to have your different model cars, the different prices. And I think it's good. I mean, not everyone is going to be able to afford the high-end model. Some people are just super casual. They just want something to play occasionally. Me, I'm going to get the high-end model.
Yes.
But I don't see any problem with it.
So you're saying you're buying the Heidi Klum model. Nice. Me too.
Yeah. Bras and panties and everything.
Well, you're a pretty high-end boner, so I'm not surprised.
Well, that's the rumor Daz has been spreading.
You what? I have been spreading no rumors. I'll give Primal a boner. You can say all this shit.
The truth that Daz has been spreading.
I ain't been spreading shit. I stayed out of your crap because you're too busy getting this relationship shit, so leave me out of it.
Don't be hating.
Oh boy, very good, very good. Mr. Proto Foxy, Red Menace, do you have any thoughts on the two supposed consoles? Do you think Microsoft's doing the right thing?
I absolutely do. I think it's a damn good idea. And actually, what I took away from the article that was dropped in our chat here, it seems like you're going to have 3 SKUs, it seems. Just from what I took away. And
that's what I said. The Scarlet's one of them, too.
See, I'm thinking Scarlet is going to be your base model, right? Your regular model, disk drive. It's going to have the bells and whistles, but then you're going to go to Anaconda, and it don't want none if it ain't got the buns hung.
Like a fire stick.
But Anaconda is going to be, the equivalent of the X, and then the Lockhart seems like it's going to be the more entry level one, at least from what I took away in the article, where it may even be the streaming box as opposed to having a disk drive. But see, it really seems like Microsoft is going to test the waters come next year with Xbox One S that's going to be diskless. So it's going to be a streaming device. At least that's the way it seems like it, from what I took from the article. But it's definitely good on Microsoft's parts because, let's call a spade here. Sony's got this on lockdown. This gen is Sony.
Yeah,
all right? Love them, hate them, indifferent. It's they won the game this round. And Microsoft, and especially after, because not only did Boom just mention it, but I kind of heard little rumblings here and there too, just following the little things I follow, that the PS5 is supposed to be a monster. I would not be surprised if Sony goes out the gate swinging with this big box that's going to have just, it's going to be, let's say an old 69 Mustang under the hood. You know what I mean?
You said 69, Foxy.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. The big block, big block motor. This is going to be the bad boy. Microsoft is going to, have to say, all right, well, how are we going to, work around this? Sony beat us last go around. How can we work around it? Well, if we come out the gate swinging with 3 different SKUs and give everybody a price point that they can, get into, that screams to me that's very consumer friendly, and especially because I'm a parent. So it's like, okay, let's say I want to go with maybe, the Anaconda, the big bad mamma jamma. And then my son wants one, but I'm not going to drop another, 5 notes on it. Let me go get the streaming box. Let me go grab the Lockhart, put it in his bedroom, so now he has that same experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's like, and now Microsoft has 2 consoles installed in my household, and this is all, for instance, kind of stuff. So there's 2 different consoles. You got 2 different accounts tied to it because obviously then you're gonna want to they're gonna have their own separate live account and this, that, and the other thing. So, I mean, it's a damn good idea on their part, and it's actually a very smart idea business-wise because they're going to have to, take that kind of different approach.
You know what? You know what I think about this too, Proto, is there's no gamer left behind because
exactly.
According
well,
to
you still got to buy the devices to play on them, haven't you, Jago?
Well, yeah, you do, but even if you don't, according to what Microsoft is telling us, your X will be able to play the next gen games. And if you trade out, trade your
X is only a fucking year old.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. But if you trade your X or sell your X, you're no matter what you get, your Scarlet, your Lockhart, your Anaconda, you'll be able to play the next Xbox games and this gen's Xbox games and the 360 games and the OG Xbox games. Now, I don't think Sony, and I don't think they're going, and they may be behind the scenes, but I don't think they're setting themselves up to do the same thing that Microsoft's doing, and that's not a good look in 2018. So Microsoft is setting themselves up to be like no gamer left behind, no matter what console you have. And that is phenomenal.
And that's definitely a good way to think about it, especially because of the way this generation went down.
Yes.
It's like, okay, how are we going to come back out on top again? And it's a multi-prong attack, like you said, no gamer left behind, that kind of thing. These are all smart ideas on their part.
Absolutely, Daz, you got anything to add on this?
Yeah, personally, Scarlet, whatever you want to fucking call it. Whatever it's going to be, they should mainly concentrate on that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, fair enough, they're bringing all this stream shit out and that, but At the end of the day, the hardcore players are going to be on this Scarlet or whatever, you know. Yeah, you've got your streaming devices, you've got all these and that. Like I said on Boom's podcast before, if you remember Boom, the battery life is going to fuck it all up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The battery life, you can't bring a device out that will not drain instantly. And it will happen.
Yeah.
With all the power of these games and that, streaming stuff to all these devices and that, the battery life will just drain instantly. Yeah. Keep it console. Yeah, fair enough. Have it on mobiles, tablets, whatever. But all these other fucking new names are giving it all and that. It's still going to be another money con, you know, for extra devices, and you won't be able to get half the performance. It's bullshit to me. I will be the downer on this conversation. Thank you.
Are you referencing the Switch? You're referencing the Switch right now, aren't you?
No, I didn't fuck about the Switch. I don't even own Nintendo, do I?
No, you don't. I don't either, brother.
I used to, but now it's emulators, baby. You know, and they don't cost no battery life.
Better watch that talk, Daz. Nintendo's ready to sue everybody at this point.
Oh, let them. You know, we can put whatever we want on YouTube now, bro. We're good. You know what I mean?
Yep. Gonna lose those YouTube dollars here. Yeah.
I was gonna say demonetization, and then lawsuits are coming.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think this is new news. It's blown out of proportion. It's bullshit. Take it at face value, whatever, but it's going to be a fucking main console like the Scarlet, whatever you want to call it, and a couple of devices. That's it.
Well said, well said. Now, moving on to a different topic. Recently, during an interview, Capcom producer Jun Takeuchi stated that the company is working on a brand new game, one that will apparently surprise a lot of gamers, and that it's one that fans of the company won't see coming. And he went on to state in this interview that if we keep gradually increasing the size of our staff, I'm thinking we'll be able to handle 4 AAA titles at once.
Yep.
Also, in addition to that, we're currently working on a title that will make fans go, wow, they're really making that? So, panel, I'm kind of wondering here, what game could he be hinting that about? Like, is there an overlooked IP in Capcom's library that you could see getting rebooted or coming
Ghouls
back?
And Ghosts! Yes! Yes! Ghouls and Ghosts! Yes!
I knew that was coming.
Time!
I knew that was coming.
Well, I'm going to start off with Noof Nukem. Buddy, what do you feel is coming back?
Boy, that's
Please say Ghouls and Ghosts.
There could be a few. Look, honestly, I think it could be, Ghouls and Ghosts would be a great one. You could also see another Beautiful Joe. There's also, I think, you had games that had lots of potential back in the day, like Strider, possibly. A 3D fully fledged Strider, not that one that they made like 2 or 3 years ago, that side scroller, but a fully fledged one. Maybe a game like Mercs, something like that, quite possibly. At least that's where I would go with those, or Final Fight. Maybe a new Final Fight game.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Like those games they just listed off, like definitely some diversity in their library there to be able to do that.
I'm not sure if Final Fight would be a thing because we've had Raid Injustice and all that. So, you know, same old. So I think they all know what everyone's doing. Yeah.
But we are getting a revival of Streets of Rage, man. That might fall in line with that. They were, pretty neck and neck with each other back in the 90s.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Mr. Boomstick, our guest, how do you feel? What do you think is coming back possibly? What could Capcom be reviving here?
Well, I mean, I think for me, the real easy answer is Onimusha. And the reason why I say that simply is because Onimusha HD is launching right before Resident Evil 2 in January. I already have it pre-ordered. It's going to be fantastic. But, of course, it's really just, they touched it up a little bit. There is one other one that I think that has been making the rounds, especially in some of like the message boards. A new Dino Crisis, has been rumored to. They've been kind of poking around at that because at this point, there maybe not be as big as Resident Evil, but those are two absolutely beloved franchises. And you know what? Who doesn't like dinosaurs? And samurai seem to be the hot thing. So It could be either of those. I did hear from different sources that they're already starting pre-production for Resident Evil 3 because they know 2 is going to be a success, and they know everyone wants the Nemesis. So I did, if you remember, at the beginning of the year, when they had their their quarterly financials, the Capcom's president was already quoted in saying that they're going to bring back a lot of their older IPs just in newer versions, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So those are my 2 picks.
And solid picks those are. Wow, yeah, definitely. Dino Crisis, I definitely agree with that. That'd be a possibility. Miss Primal Eve.
I'd read the chat before you answer, Primal, baby.
Okay. Okay. So the games that me personally, I would love for there to be another Lost Planet. I really enjoyed the second one, especially with the multiplayer. And just the co-op campaign was a lot of fun, except for the train. I feel like any game with like a train going on is not fun. I could definitely see I could definitely see Dino Crisis being brought up. I would love to see Animusha. You make this so difficult for me. I know you're doing it on purpose. I would love to see
I do, yeah.
And also Beautiful Joe. I thought that was such an awesome, fun game. Like I played both of them quite a bit. I did like the first one better. But I think any of those would be really, really awesome. Or I could be completely wrong and they could redo Mega Man completely.
Yeah.
But I think that would be weird if they like redesigned him and stuff.
I think we've had enough Mega Man to last us a fucking lifetime.
Well, then we just got 11 too, and I mean that one's pretty hot. I mean, it's reigniting interest.
But could you imagine a third-person Mega Man?
No, I'll just spoil it. It's 2D all the way, baby. 2D.
No, we're gonna get Mega Kart. That's what's gonna happen.
That's fucking
Battle
and Chase.
What? And fucking Mario Kart and fucking Street Racer and all.
Hadouken!
I'll fuck you up at the side of the road. Hadouken!
The little bitch slap everybody when you're driving by.
Almost like a road rash, right?
Yeah.
That would be great.
Fucking E-Honda with 100 hands just like bitch slapping him.
Get off the road.
Get off the road.
That's a scary thought. All those hands touching all the cars and whatnot, all the carts.
Yeah, because everyone listens to this podcast. Do not give them ideas because the developers will take it into them.
I think you're giving everyone ideas, Daz.
And, dirty ideas.
E-Honda,
especially Primal.
E-Honda's everyone's favorite. E-Honda's everybody's favorite. Imagine he could finger pretty good.
Either that or leave a bloody mess.
Or Dawson, because he can extend things.
Every girl's best friend.
All right.
Off the rails.
Stinky Baby, Stinking Corpse. What franchise do you think could be making a comeback here? What could this director, producer, do you think he's hinting at?
I really do like Daz's idea of Ghouls and Ghosts. And,
thank you, Stinky. I'll pay you later.
Of course. And I do like the idea of Dino Crisis or Lost Planet.
Lost Planet was awesome.
It'd be cool to kind of see a little revival and bring back and see where they go. I mean, if they hit it off and keep making some more, fine. If not, then well, at least they try.
It's like I've said it before, Stinker Baby. It's like Marvel versus Capcom 3, the fighting game, yeah? Yeah, it's already got a Ghouls and Ghosts fucking background in there, and that looks cock on, so why the fuck can't they do it?
Hey, I say do it. That's what I want. Actually, that'd be my number one pick, and then Dino Crisis after that, but Ghouls and Ghosts is what I really want to see.
Yes. Make it hard as fuck as well.
Oh, fuck
like
yeah.
The original.
Yeah. You want to
make the first playthrough mediocre, like on just normal level, yeah? Then hard as fuck. There's no easy fucking medium without like that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Make it hardcore. Absolutely. That mean Pram.
Hardcore fella right here. All right. Proto Foxy. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think they're bringing back?
Oh man, everybody's already mentioned such great IPs from Capcom. I'm definitely with Daz and Stinky as far as Ghouls and Ghosts go. You could almost even take the route that they did with Mega Man 11 and just really revamp it, but keep that hardcore difficulty. That would just be a blast. Wish list wise, Primal mentioned Beautiful Joe. I own every single Beautiful Joe except the PSP game. And actually, as a matter of fact, I was just playing on DS the other day. I love those games. That would be a great one. You know, that would be one of my personal picks for them to bring back. And then Onimusha, obviously, because those games were great. You know, though they were a lot of fun. That almost seems like that would be the safest bet because it's like between Onimusha and the aforementioned Dino Crisis, those two seem like that. Though everybody's really clamoring at least for updates to those. I mean, Dino Crisis, has a very large, very vocal fan base as far as, people who hold that game near and dear. I actually, believe it or not, I wasn't a fan of those titles. I thought they were too almost derivative of the Resident Evil thing and then throwing dinosaurs into it.
We don't need it because we've got Res 2 coming out, so we don't need it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I would almost think, Onimusha would almost be right there as far as what would be next on the block. But for me personally, it would be either that one or Beautiful Joe, just because I enjoyed the hell out of those two games. And I've already got my Mega Man 11, so I can't say Mega Man right now.
All right. Yeah, no, very good thoughts, my friend. Jago, buddy. Jago Kukin.
Just skip Jago because he talks too long.
No, I want to hear from Jago. What are your thoughts, buddy?
You're fired.
Nice.
All right.
Good talk, Jago. Good talk.
It's like zero input.
All right, Daz, what I know you already said ghosts and goblins.
No, I'm here.
Golden Ghosts.
On mute.
There he is, look.
Everybody pretty much said what,
All right, Jago, what's your opinion on this?
Everybody pretty much said what, everybody would expect from Capcom. But nobody said one of my favorite games from Capcom. That I'm pretty sure it was Capcom. It was Azura's Wrath. Come on, man, Azura's Wrath. Power
What's
Stone.
that in English, Jago?
Asura's Wrath.
Asura's Wrath. I've completely forgotten about that game. Holy hell.
Man. Deserves a sequel. It would look so phenomenal, even cel shaded still in today's generation. Oh my god! And Azura, whatever you want, how you want to pronounce his name, Asura. He is one of the baddest the most badass figures I've ever seen in a Capcom game. Are you kidding me? He fights off the dude the size of a planet. A planet.
A planet, peeps. A planet.
You heard it here.
But that Power Stone, and I know my girl's oldest daughter, she used to love this game by Capcom, Okami, with the little wolf or whatever.
Oh wow, yeah.
I played that. I missed out on that.
She was like, all my friends are playing this, and I had never heard of it, but I actually watched her play it, and it was actually pretty cool. I never played it myself, and I watched her play it a ton, because me and her got along so well. And I watched her play it. It was actually a pretty cool game. So that would be, because I know it might be a niche market for like Okami, or Asura's Wrath, but I mean, that would be phenomenal.
I've got one for Vader. Hey, Vader, bro. I'm sure Virtual Joe was on the Capcom as well.
Z Black Rider, what's up, bro?
You got that right, Daz.
Yeah, you know it.
Oh yeah. No, you know what? There's a lot of good takes here. Like Capcom has a pretty stacked back library. I would be very curious to see what they bring back. I
think Dino Crisis is too easy of a pick, though.
That's too Resident Evil. So Resident Evil's going to take over like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Dino Crisis, there's been lots of rumors about it over the past couple of years, but I would not be surprised if they went all the way back and brought back something like, what Daz was saying, or just, a lot of these favorites. I mean,
they're going to bring back 1942, a new version.
Old school top-down.
This version of Ghouls and Ghosts has been brought to you by Preparation 8.
Honestly,
it's going to be Ghouls and Goblins, not Ghouls and Ghosts.
Honestly,
and they're primal like Ghouls and Goblins.
I ain't trying to kiss Daz's ass, but I would not be surprised if it was Ghouls and Ghosts. I am being...
It better be, because I've called it for fucking years, and it wants to be, I tell it.
I'm being honest, I could be, because they have not ever remade that game. ever.
I'll tell you something, Jago. If it is Gulls and Ghosts, I'll get on an airplane and I'll come kiss your ass while I'm traveling past.
That's not entirely accurate, though. They had the Maximo series, and those were set in that franchise. They weren't as good, but they did touch on it. So I mean, there's always that distinct possibility.
Yeah.
But I've got one question for you all. The best version of Ghouls and Ghosts, the Mega Drive or the SNES?
SNES. Sorry.
SNES.
Yes. Good man, Boomstick. Good man.
I'm gonna be the guy to say Genesis as far as
yes, because it was the easiest.
Well, that too, and I'm a pussy.
The most visually impressive version of Ghouls and Ghosts was the SNES. I played it on the Genesis.
It was. It's like from the Commodore 64 to the Master System to the Mega Drive, blah blah blah. Yeah. That was the same game, but the SNES had its own game with different levels. So yes, the SNES with Mode 7 graphics as well. Thank you.
And you know, I'm not a Nintendo. I don't kiss Nintendo's ass, but Nintendo SNES had the best version.
Yeah, like I said, Jago, I'll pay you later. Yeah, I DM'd you like we'll sort that later. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, you two. Sounds good. You DM each other about that. Mm-hmm. Now, moving on, Proto Foxy's gonna like this. It appears that the PlayStation Classic is already discounted right now. I've seen it at about 50% off by some retailers. And honestly, the classic console, it just seems to be a bit of a dud when it launched. And even failing to impress recently in Japan with its sales, it is well below the NES and SNES classics. And Panel, do you feel... Yes. Do you feel like it was implemented improperly, and should it have had a better lineup? And I'm going to start with the man who obviously brought this to all of our attention in the chat. Proto Foxy, please go on, good sir.
Oh man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you letting me take the floor on this one to start. First off, this thing was just a shitstorm right out the gate. It seems like. I mean, it would almost seem like Sony had a winner on its hand. You're gonna, reissue this classic console, and then when you got the lineup of the games, and the lineup of the games themselves were just so ho-hum to begin with.
I can't wait for this. So yeah, I'm just muting myself while I go to the toilet.
Wash your hands.
Oh dear.
I'm off of primal.
But now I gotta realign my train of thought here. But yeah, I mean the game lineup was ho-hum. The presentation was just boring as opposed to the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. It was just very bare bones. Some of the games were even suboptimal. I think they were running, they said that like half the games on that were running on the PAL versions, which were going to run slower anyway, which is a real shame. It just seems like this was just a real rushed cash grab. It wasn't, obviously we knew it was going to be a cash grab to begin with, but it was rushed on top of it. And it's a shame because this seemed like it should have been a sure winner, and they did everything they could just to sabotage it out of the gates. And I mean, even now, you've got the hacking community, which are already tearing into it. And it doesn't seem like it's much to tear into it, to get into it, to hack it at all. But why should you have to go out and hack something to get the most out of it? You know what I mean? If you can't get a full experience, a full fulfilling experience out of the box, then why bother? And yeah, the price drops, like you had said, Invader, dropping down about 50% out the gate. And they're offering, like, I saw one website, I think it was sitting at like $69.99 or $79.99, but then they're going to offer a $25 gift card to the store. I forget which store it was. If you purchase it, it's just very telling that this thing just shit the bed right out the gate, and it's a damn shame.
Well, it's interesting because apparently, like, some people have hacked into the console and they've looked around, and supposedly there's files there with about, they can name off like 36 different hidden games.
Yeah. It's all just more in lines of code than anything that they were planning on doing it, and for whatever reason, probably time constraints, because they wanted to rush this out the gate so quickly that they didn't get on there.
I think it was the licensing that they didn't want to pay for.
That too, especially with what you had, Spyro, you had Tomb Raider, you had
Hawk.
But don't they all the own licensing being on the original PlayStation?
No, but they're not PlayStation tied. They don't own the licenses to Tomb Raider. They don't own the licenses to Tony Hawk, to any of them. The only thing they have the licenses for is for everything that's first party, and that's actually not the only issue. The issue was the music in the games that they want to pay big bucks for.
Yeah, don't go over 30 seconds, peeps.
Yeah, I mean, let this be a lesson to everybody. If you're going to go for a nostalgia cash grab, this is not how you do it.
Kind of underperforming and whatnot.
Yeah. And we got awkward silence.
Hey, Bristol, baby. Why have we got an awkward silence? Are you up for tonight?
Yeah. Boom, you there?
I'm here, brother.
Oh, sorry.
Damn, you spoiled the moment.
Boom, what are your thoughts on this, my friend? And I know you just kind of alluded to it, but with the PlayStation Classic, it seems like it tanked. How do you feel about, do you feel like Sony really dropped the ball on this one?
It's a real shame. It's a shame because it's going to go down as a black eye for Sony in a year that would be considered one of their best years as a gaming company. I mean, when you look at what they've done, the sales numbers, the amazing and incredible first party games that they put out this year. I mean, you got Spider-Man, you got God of War, you got Detroit, you have all their deals with the second party, games. This is not the way you want to end the year. And to be completely honest, I mean, you can go all the way back to E3 2018, and it seems like Sony's stumbling a bit. They had a very unimpressive E3. I mean, the games that they show, of course, they showed Resident Evil look great and everything, and Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. But they really didn't blow anyone's skirt up, if you know what I mean. And they've been stumbling ever since. They didn't attend Paris Games Week. They didn't attend Gamescom. They canceled PSX. It goes public that they're pulling out of E3. Now that there's talk about Apple possibly buying Sony, and again, let's get this clear. I had a lot of people say that like a title I did was clickbaity, if you will. I don't do that. With all of the cancellations, the cost cutting and corners that are being cut for Sony, something's happening. Okay, this isn't a coincidence. And Apple has been talking about getting into the gaming business for years. So they're not going to buy Sony Pictures because they're going to lose the Spider-Man license. But getting back to this particular console, you take all of everything that's happened so far, and this is literally the cherry on top. This by all rights, and I'm not sure who actually said it, should have been a billion seller. Like, it should have been in everyone's stocking come Christmas. And I think that's what they were expecting. But when you release something that's half-hearted like they did, here's a perfect example of how you knew this thing was going to go bad. When they first announced it, they only said, well, we're only going to let you know about 5 games that are coming with it. That should have been the sign right there that this was going to be a dud. And it's unfortunate it's really unfortunate, not for people like us, because a lot of us already have some of these games and have classic systems in storage, but for the fans that actually really love the brand. And of course, for their kids that they want to introduce the original PlayStation to, it's a shame.
Absolutely.
It sounds like
someone just dropped.
Someone just snapped their.
So I got it.
No, absolutely, Boom. You make great points there. Primal Eve, babe. How do you feel about this? Do you think Sony just kind of, they just kind of
cash grab
in their last moment?
I am extremely disappointed because the PlayStation, the first PlayStation, is one of my favorite systems of all time. It has by far all of my favorite JRPGs on there. When I saw that they had Final Fantasy VII when they first released the first 5 that they were going to show us, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I started getting a little worried because then they said that that there wasn't any hardware to network with, so that there couldn't be any updates. You couldn't install, download anything else. Like, it is what it is. I'm like, well, shit. And then they released the full list. there was only 2 more games that I would play on there, and that would be Persona and Wild Arms for $100. I don't think so.
Rip off.
Yeah, if they had done something where you were able to have like a shop where you can continuously buy more of the classic games, I think that actually might be worth it. But the fact that it is what it is, they screwed up big time. And there's a lot of disappointed people out there. I keep seeing all these pictures of these full shelves. Maybe one might have gotten knocked over, like somebody actually like walked by it accidentally and hit it, not that they actually looked at it. It's really sad and it's really disappointing. Yeah. But yeah, if they had put more heart into it, and if they had actually thought about people who are fans of this, like I would have loved to have my daughter have this. Because I did name her Eris, and she's never played Final Fantasy VII before, so it would have been really, really cool for her to go off to the side and kind of play where I got her from.
Yeah, every gamer should play Final Fantasy VII.
Yes,
but not with the PS Mini.
No, I agree, and honestly, all those games, a lot of people can just either go on Steam or get an emulator for it. So. It's the sad thing. It really sucks. Sony's kind of, I don't know. And now that they said that they're not going to be having an E3, they're leaving everybody kind of with like a bad taste in their mouths. So I kind of hope that they have something big and something major waiting for everybody within the next year or two.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Daz, do you want to catch in on the tail end of Primal?
I've got a lot to say about the Mini, but before we get there, Primal just said she'd like to see something big, tasty in her mouth. Yeah, I'm up for that, Primal, baby. You know this. You just fucking ran it in that one, but yeah. Right. Seriously, anyone who knows me knows that I think all mini consoles are a fucking cash grab. They all are, yeah? It's like the SNES fucking Mini. 799 fucking megabit. Not even a gig's worth of fucking data. That's all the games. That's every SNES game, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, fair enough. The PlayStation Mini is ISOs. It's like 3 gig plus, whatever. So what? Technology today can fit all them on a fucking box.
Yeah.
They give you 20 games that are a total fucking rip-off. You can get them all on PC. If you've got a decent enough PC, you don't even onboard graphics, don't even need a decent graphic card to do it these days. Mm-hmm. It's a total fucking rip-off. It's a money con. Where's the Gran Turismos? Where's all that shit? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's fucking bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. It really is. It's like, as soon as I saw this, I fucking laughed my fucking head off, and I'm sure I fucking tweeted it out a few times as well. You know what I mean? It's absolute bollocks. Minis, fuck off. Get yourself a PC, get yourself a cheap laptop, bang them all on there, download the ROMs, even though Dascast does not condone that.
No, we do not.
No, you know that's Nicky, baby.
We don't
condone emulators or ROMs, but it's an absolute fucking piss taking bullshit and a waste of your money. Don't even bother. A box of ROMs. It's like Supersonic Station fucking did a video earlier, yeah? Unboxing a fucking SNES Mini.
Yeah.
And I says, a box of ROMs, fucking con. And he goes, yeah, but you can download the other 800 meg onto it. You can on the fucking PC as well. It hasn't cost you 100 quid, has it?
It didn't cost you nothing.
Nope.
Exactly. It's fucking bullshit. It's a money con at the end of the day. The Sony don't give a fuck, regardless. Anyone that really, Nintendo, whoever, don't give a fuck what they're releasing. These mini consoles are nothing but a money con. You can have it all on your PC for fuck all. It's bullshit. And you can get away with it. Yeah, so,
but
there you go.
You know what? I'm going to be the asshole and interject here on this one because I'm just going to say it's the thinking like that. It's why the video game industry is in the shits that is in, because everybody bought PCs and pirated shit and get emulators, and nobody's getting royalties or money from this stuff. And this is why Nintendo's been cracking down, because everybody and their damn dog's been fucking copyrighting and playing their games. I mean, I don't care. If you want to do it, that's fine with you. But at the end of the day, I mean, no matter where you get it, if you're getting it for free, you're not doing something right. That's unless they're giving it to you, like Nintendo's giving you a copy for free or something. But otherwise, like I said, this is one of the big problems I have with PC, and this is what I've always said. And people will hate me for saying it, but you know, people complain about game prices and complain about this, that, and something else. Well, you know, fucking PC is driving the fucking industry into the toilet because of that fucking shit. This is why.
Yeah, but I'm purely on about PC on emulators. It's like. Why spend £100 on a piece of plastic that can obviously get fucking hacked to fuck just to put the same shit off the internet onto the fucking USB stick onto the fucking actual piece of box you've just paid £100 for?
Yeah, it is a cash grab. I get that.
It's bullshit.
Absolutely, very poetic what you said, Daz. Definitely understand.
You know me, Vader baby. I'm very poetic.
You know, it's very well said, definitely. Noof, anything else to add to that?
Well, look, I'll just quickly say, like, look, the bottom line is the PlayStation Classic should have been just that. It should have been a classic. This should have been a console just about everybody did want to buy, right? I mean, to have like an insulting selection of 20 games when how many games were out on the PlayStation originally? Like hundreds, right? Yeah. Hundreds of games. Like Dazzy said, you could pretty much fit their entire library on probably like a gig or a couple of gigs at best. You know, but here we are, 20 games. You don't have Gran Turismo's on there. If you think about the original PlayStation, the games that you think about when you think about that console, you think about, you think about Ridge Racer, you think about Tekken, and you do have a couple of those, but you think about Crash Bandicoot. You think about Gran Turismo especially. Long before God of War and Uncharted's ever come around, what was the flagship title that Sony had? Was Gran Turismo. And that's not even on there. When you can't even put one of your flagship titles, I don't give a shit about the music license, because you know what? If worst case scenario, they could have recoded the game, got rid of a few songs, threw in some different ones or something, but they could have at least given you know, the gamers that game or a few different types. I mean, there's no Tony Hawk League, so there's no, and Tomb Raider was almost synonymous with PlayStation.
Well, that one PlayStation exclusive. It was on the Saturn as well, wasn't it?
It was on Saturn. It was on Saturn.
Yeah, but it was on Saturn. But you say what I'm saying, it was more synonymous with PlayStation because they only had the one game on Saturn. They had 2, 3, and everything else on PlayStation. So I think it was a big misstep, and I'm not sure why. Again, I don't know if it was just because, again, it was too much effort to go through all the licensing and stuff. But at the end of the day, 20 games was pretty paltry. I mean, they had, you know, even if they'd done one different thing in here, and I wanted to get your take on it all. But what if they at least put a disc drive in? What if they at least left a CD drive in this thing so you could actually play your old discs, or you could go out and buy some discs and put in there?
Well, they don't need to, because modern technology allows you to get every game for fuck all off the internet. I
the thing is I almost want to, or not even almost. I want to agree with Noof on that, just simply because, like, and let's take a look at another kind of quote unquote classic console, the AT Games Sega Genesis one. Yeah, the emulation isn't perfect. But AT Games offers you that cartridge slot, so you have the option. So that I actually would have thought would have been a great option. It wouldn't have taken anything for them to put the disc. Yeah, you got you preload some titles on there, obviously, to have your selling point. But yeah, Noof, that would have been a great idea.
I would have bought one if they had, because I've never owned the original PlayStation. Believe it or not, I've owned every other Sony console, but that one, if they had the disc drive in that thing, I guarantee you, I would have at least bought a PS Classic.
Look, my take on this is this on the PlayStation Classic. It's shit. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's shit. Yeah. But I think you know, the PlayStation Classic was announced before we all heard that Sony was pulling out of this conference and this conference and this conference. They announced this to continue the money train, to continue the hype for the brand, and they thought they were big shit. And the games that were in it, because the 5 they told you were pretty much the best 5 in the whole catalog of 20 games. So they thought the masses would go out and buy it, and that would sustain them. after the blow of us hearing that they weren't going to be in, E3 and Paris Games Week or whatever game, whatever they pulled out of, they were just trying to continue the money train, which is Sony and the PlayStation brand. That's what I took from it. And they threw it together in a hurry, and it shows. I mean, I even read an article the other day that the NES or the SNES Classic runs the PlayStation games better than the PlayStation Classic itself. That is terrible. That is terrible. And they left the key to unlock the system so you could put your games on it inside the Classic itself. That is,
because if that was the case, they would not. Anyone that sells a fucking mini version of a console would not want you to hack it, would they?
No,
so it's just bullshit.
Sony left the key in there for anybody that. Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
It's like, I think it was less than like 2-3 days after it was released at some.
It
was a simple
like every other fucking mini.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a ROM box at the end of the day. It's a ROM box. That's all it is.
But see, the thing is with at least the NES and the SNES, there was a bit more workarounds they had to do.
Yeah, but you can still do it.
Boom.
Anybody can still do it. So anyone with a bit of fucking knowledge about PCs can do it. It's bullshit. They know what they're doing. They don't care. They're just trying to sell their plastic. That's it.
That was my take on it, man.
I'm not disagreeing with you on it all. I'm just saying it was like this one seemed like it was almost ready made for that though too. They're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Well, and the point is they have all those other games on the system. It's like they were wanting you to do that, unlock it, and we ain't gonna tell you those games are on it. If you are savvy enough to go in here and hack it, which there's a lot of people that don't take, a lot of people that know so much about that, you don't take them but like 10 minutes to go in there and figure out. It's like, look, we're selling this for $100, but there's all kinds of these other games on it, but don't tell nobody. Just hack it and play them. But I'm like, what the fuck? When I read the article that the SNES or the NES ran the games better, the PlayStation games better than the on the Nintendo man. I was like, what? Or the SNES man. I was like, what the fuck is Sony doing? It is total cash grab, and because most of the games on there are shit. Final Fantasy VII, Tekken. There was only like 4 or 5 that I'd actually.
I thought he was going to say Final Fantasy was shit then, Jago.
No.
Maybe he'll get the fuck out of it.
There's also.
It's one of the best Final Fantasies still to this day.
It's the only Final Fantasy. The rest of it can fuck that off.
But it's total cash grab, man.
Well, you know what? There's
Final Fantasy VI.
There's something else that no one's brought up that's a really important factor as to why the system is garbage. It's because they're running the PAL ROMs.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Okay,
that means the UK ROMs, basically.
The reason why they're doing that is because they were bilingual, if you will. Yeah. So it was cheaper to say, okay, let's use the PAL ROMs so we can just drop it in many countries without actually having to split it. Yeah. And with the PAL ROMs, if you know about that, there's a tremendous amount of input lag for games like Tekken. They're actually a second. You push the button, and there's a second goes, and that game used to run at a fine 60 frames per second with no input lag whatsoever when it launched on the original PS1. So besides the plastic being cheap, the controllers being cheap, the games sucking, you add the ROMs into that, and you really, listen, don't be surprised that in 6 months from now you don't see this at Five Below.
Oh no, I'm sure, Boom. I am sure.
Oh, and the thing is too, Boom, that like you mentioned with the whole PAL ROM thing. On top of that, it's not just because they're the PAL ROMs; they've upscaled those PAL ROMs to run on NTSC.
Yeah,
and that's where your big problem is. But
don't forget, you can just go on the internet and download the NTSC and bang them all on, so it'll run better anyway.
Well, again, that is absolutely true. You can, but it's just the choices they made. It was the decisions they made in this.
Yeah, it was. Everything was very fast, and I think Jay, I think everybody on the panel might have said it. It definitely was a cash grab.
It's like I'm sure Boom would agree with you. Where's 2 on it?
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
The PlayStation Classic gets a huge 9 sucks out of 10. If this console was a PlayStation, it would be epic.
All right, let's hear one more panel member's thoughts. Stinking corpse. What are your
I thought I was getting bunched off. Hey, you're back, Stinky, baby.
I'm still here.
He's still here.
Hey, still here. When it was first announced, that's the first thing I thought of. It's a cash grab.
It
has the
is.
potential to have something magical on their hands by trying to make a cash grab off the nostalgia of the first PlayStation, but ultimately failed miserably with the presentation of it, and obviously with the internals inside of it. I think actually it was that same day that was released. It was hacked.
Yeah,
it didn't take people very long to do it. I've watched some videos on it. I've seen, you can upload or you can put whatever games you want on it, basically, but I wasn't going to buy it. I have the original PlayStation. If I want to play whatever I've got, I'll play it on my PS2. But
you've got to understand, Stinky Baby's a collector. He owes everything in the world.
He does. See, I'm right there with Stinky because I've got all of them too. It was like I hadn't intended on purchasing this anyway because I've got the original PlayStation 1 with all the discs. So it's just like, okay, I mean, it would have been a cool little.
And it still works.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing because it's old school, and old school's the best school. It's made to last, not like this new shit.
Yeah. Oh, and you're right, Daz. I mean, you're 100% right. But it just it's just a big flop for Sony because you would think that they would have put more effort into the internals of this mini, the game list that was.
I can't think of a shittier fighting game than Battle Arena Toshinden. I played that garbage.
I really enjoyed that when it came out. I mean, I did too. I had a PlayStation 1 a year before it was here in the States. I imported it from Japan. My four first games were Battle Arena Toshinden, Tekken 1, Ridge Racer, and Collect the Blood, I think it was. It was like a Japanese RPG mech kind of a game. And I actually I hate to say this, man. Battle Arena Toshinden for its time, and maybe not now. It was dynamite. I really enjoyed it.
Being the 3D fighter that it was, and then when I got my Saturn, it got put out, and then they had Battle Arena Toshinden Yura remix for it. But, I mean, now you go back and play it. Yeah, it's not that great, but for the time, like Boom said, for the time when it came out, it was new and it was different.
Well, you got to realize I was more of a Virtua Fighter Tekken fan back then. So I played that. I was like, what the hell is this game? What is this shit?
Now,
Virtua Fighter was fucking awesome on the Saturn. I saw it, and Mega Mix and all that. But I will say, anyone played the platformer Pandemonium on the PlayStation and the Saturn?
Oh yeah, yep. I have it actually. Yeah.
Fucking classic.
Oh, it was for sure. It was.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
Have you heard that, Invader? Have you played that?
No, I have not.
No, you're fired.
You're fired.
I'll host the rest of the show.
All right, you got it, guys. Here you go. I'm going to hand it to the mic. I'm passing
What's up, pigs? Welcome to the Dascast episode. Fuck off.
All right, fellas. Moving on. Let's keep this show on track. So, as most of you know, Mortal Kombat 11 was recently unveiled at the Game Awards. Yes. And hey, it's been drawing a lot of attention. And of course, fans naturally start to wonder who will appear as a guest on the roster. And recently, during a Reddit AMA, a fan asked comic legend Todd McFarlane if Spawn would come to the game. And he replied with, I believe he's on his way. Now, to me, that sounds pretty intriguing. Panel, do you think he'll be coming onto the roster?
Don't get your votes up.
You think that Todd McFarlane's just pulling our legs here? And I'm going to start with.
There's a couple of reasons why I believe that there's substance to what Todd McFarlane is saying. He's currently producing the Spawn reboot. We know that's inbound, and he's going to be handling that. Obviously, the last one was terrible. They changed the whole origin of him, so he wanted, obviously this is the generation of superheroes, and you know what, a rated R film, which is what it's touting to be because of the success of Deadpool. We have the understanding that a new film is coming, so it would make perfect sense to have that character in a game like Mortal Kombat 11, simply because it's violent, right? Spawn is from hell.
Yeah, Spawn ain't coming till like fucking.
He would be one of those characters that would be literally perfect for this. So I mean that's my take on it. I listen. Todd McFarlane is a lot of things. A liar is not one of them. And you know what? If he's saying that, I think again, this is him just throwing it out there. Yeah, Spawn's on the way, but why would he say that if there was no truth to it? I mean, they're gonna hold him to task, if it doesn't come true, right? I mean, and he is looking to reboot the Spawn franchise. Why say something like that if it can come back and hurt you?
Absolutely. It's it's very intriguing. He's very much confirming in his words, if you're asking me, that he's definitely coming. So it's interesting that he's being so proactive about it. Primal Eve, do you think he's just pulling our legs, or do you think he's actually confirming it?
And don't forget, Vader just said coming, Primal.
And he said pulling.
I'm already not looking forward to my outro between Jago and
I'll say for about you last.
As a comic book fan and as a huge Todd McFarlane fan, I am wholeheartedly believing what he's saying. I don't see why he would say that. It wouldn't make sense. It's not like they're just going to add like a background or some type of scenery that's Spawn themed within Mortal Kombat. I think we're actually going to see Spawn, and it's really, really awesome because it's been a really long time since we've seen Spawn. I can't remember either Soul Calibur 2 or Soul Calibur 3.
Soul Calibur 2.
Soul Calibur 2. Okay.
Yeah, the Xbox.
Yes, that we saw him in, and I think people should know more about Spawn. He's been kind of gone. So the fact that he does plan on rebooting him, putting him in Mortal Kombat, is a really good way to get him out there. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Exactly. And this isn't Spawn. This wouldn't be Spawn's first time in a fighting game. I believe he was in one of the Soul Calibur games as a guest character.
Yep, Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, Soul Calibur 2. Yeah.
Yep, Soul Calibur 2.
Exactly. So there is kind of a history with Spawn in fighting games, and I think he would make a great addition to the Mortal Kombat roster. Jago, please chime in. Would you be really excited to see him in there?
Fuck yes, brother. I have a fucking Spawn tattoo on my
fucking hell, Jago.
Yeah.
Fucking bit falls off me.
Dude, I put it on Twitter like last year. I have a Spawn tattoo on my arm. He's my favorite comic book character. He is the ultimate badass. Are you kidding me? And let's get down to brass tacks right here. We were supposed to see Spawn in another Realm game.
Yep.
And maybe in Injustice 2, maybe in Mortal Kombat 10, maybe in Mortal Kombat 9, and we still
never happened. And and all the shit's run out.
Yeah,
it's been a few years.
The time for NetherRealm to be able to use Spawn, because they have the rights to Spawn for a limited amount of time, is running out. I can't believe it hasn't run out, because it's been a while since I looked it up.
Yeah, because it's contracted, wasn't it? Yeah. And it's run out.
Yep, it's run out.
Yeah, I can't believe we hadn't seen him yet. So I'm saying right now, I am. You can quote Jago. He will be. Fuck what Todd McFarlane said. He is going to be in MK11 because he fits perfectly in the MK universe. Let's be honest. He is
Jago, baby. Do not get your hopes up.
No, dude, I'm telling you, because why did they buy the rights to Spawn to not put him in a game?
It's been rumored to be in all the other Mortal Kombats. He was never in it, so just hold your horses.
I know, but they bought the rights to use the character. And they haven't used him.
They never used the fuckers, didn't they?
Why would they buy the rights to use him and never put him in a game? I'm telling you, he's going to be in MK11. It's going to be
9 years later.
We saw an X-ray move at the VGAs. It didn't look like a normal X-ray. It looks more realistic, and that's probably the way the X-rays are going to look now. They're going for a more realistic approach because it's running on what? Unreal Engine 4.
Yes, so it is.
Spawn is going to be the best Spawn. I guess was what NetherRealm was waiting for. He's going to be the best Spawn they could put in the game. I guess that's what they were waiting for. And if they don't put his fucking cape in there, because in Soul Calibur, his cape wasn't in there. And I don't understand. That's a hard thing to animate, and the technology wasn't where it needed to be at the time. But Spawn's cape is like another living being. If they don't have his damn cape in there, I will tweet Todd McFarlane myself.
So Spawn and got a cape, you're going to kick off. What the fuck's up with you, Jago?
People don't understand Spawn. And I got to disagree with you, Boom. I love Spawn, the movie, back in the day. That was the only Spawn I'd ever seen in a movie. And Michael Jai White was perfect as Spawn back in the day. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, I listen again. It's the substance of the movie wasn't bad. I mean, the cape was really good, and Clown was fantastic.
Yes,
but the origin that was changed, it just was
hot garbage. Is that the word you were looking for?
Yeah, there you go.
I was so happy to see Spawn in a movie, a live action movie. And
that's because you're a huge fan. Of course, if you're a fan of something, you want to see it. But at the same time, I would love to see them do a rated R one with the actual proper story written by Todd McFarlane himself. So you know it's going to be done right. Yeah. And then eventually, like I said, if in fact that is happening, and like I said, from different sources, it is, why not put him in Mortal Kombat 11? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, the game's not out, the movie's not out.
No, I know that.
But there's a problem.
Put it this way. Look, I just watched Ready Player One last night, and if you watch closely, there's a character in the movie that is Spawn. Why would they?
Well, that's not a Spawn movie, is it, Jago?
No, but that's like foreshadowing, bro. There was Spawn, like somebody in the Oasis, play as an avatar as Spawn. There was RoboCop. That's foreshadowing. It's all leading up to. I thought, in my opinion, was leading up to the announce that Mortal Kombat 11 was going to have Spawn. That's what I was thinking when I saw the Ready Player One last night. It's like, oh, okay, there's Spawn in Ready Player One. Okay, got it. So yeah, he'll be in MK11. I guarantee you.
All right.
Sweet. Right now.
See, hear that, everyone? He's guaranteeing it. So if he's not in there,
if you're not in it, everyone's got to fuck Jago up. You know what I mean?
Jago's got to buy everybody a beer.
Yeah,
beer. All right, Noof Nukem. Do you think Spawn would make a great addition to Mortal Kombat 11?
Absolutely. How could he not? Aesthetically and cosmetically, the character just fits. He kind of just feels like he's a natural extension of that franchise. So I think there's a very good chance we could see Spawn. And you know what? As far as other spin-off characters and some of that I think would work really cool in this series, and Primal might get excited when I say this, you know what? I'd love to see, like, say, one of the Gears, like Marcus Phoenix, come into that series and be a fighter.
Yeah. Just get a General Ram, wouldn't you?
And his fishing and his move could be simple. He pulls out the fucking lancer and saws the shit out of somebody. And, you know, I can hear him say it too when the ninjas come out when he's fighting like Scorpion or Sub-Zero, be like, fuck off, ninja.
And blow off
you know, fuck off, ninja.
Actually, you know what? That's a great point, Noof. Really, really good point. And I, you know what? I think this would be a great time for console-specific characters to come back, very similar to Soul Calibur, where each one had their own. And the Marcus Phoenix would actually be a fantastic fighter in that series. And you're right, having him chainsaw the shit out of somebody as
so would General Ram is also in Killer Instinct as well. So that'll be fucking double take on the Xbox, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I would argue that it would be interesting to have a Killer Instinct character in there.
Yeah, maybe Jago would be.
Just not Jago, Just not Jago.
I will go to Mortal Kombat 11, yes.
Just let's have Orchid in there. At least he's got a bit of cleavage. You know what I mean?
I want my badass robot buddy Fulgore in there for sure.
Marcus Phoenix, I'm going to close your grub hole.
Proto Foxy, you got any opinions on this? Would you be excited to see him in?
Oh, yes, I have lots of opinions. Oh, my goodness. Can I talk about how excited I was when that trailer dropped? Yes, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Good Lord, yes. As far as Spawn goes, And especially with Todd McFarlane, because this is interesting, and this is going to riff off of what Boom was saying, and then this may even give some clarity to Daz here a little bit, because again, Todd McFarlane has really been trying to keep Spawn relevant. I mean, it's the comic's been ongoing for
since 2009.
Well, again, I understand that, but hang on, wait till I get to wait till I get there, and you might see where it's all coming from, because Spawn, because first off, the comic's been ongoing. It never went away. It's been going, and now obviously it doesn't have the popularity it did in the 90s, which made me sad because I have the original 30-issue run, and now they're completely worthless at the moment. But that's the way it goes. But yes, he is working on a reboot of the movie. He is trying to keep Spawn fresh in everybody's head. Yes, it didn't happen back in 2009 when NetherRealm first contracted out Spawn. But maybe it was because, and this is a for instance, maybe it was because McFarlane wasn't ready yet. This is going to go on a different tangent here, but maybe it's like, okay, we drop him in MK11 now. This may be him saying, okay, I'm ready. We might be getting close to that reboot film. That may be like that new Spawn Renaissance kind of thing. Now, does that make a bit more sense to you there, Daz, as far as that goes?
No.
So that's what I was saying with that's what I was saying with Ready Player One back this summer.
But that's like a little tease. I can almost see where people will be like, okay, you're reaching. But I think this might be like, okay, with Todd McFarlane saying, he's on his way. It might also be him saying, okay, not only is he going to cameo in probably what has become one of the biggest fighters of the more recent times, because when MK9 dropped, that really just kind of refreshed and rejuvenated the entire Mortal Kombat franchise. I think he would be a shoo-in. They have the rights to use him yet. I mean, it would make sense. I mean, if they pass on him, that would be a damn shame.
They better not. I'll be pissed.
But it would make sense. He would fit in that universe. As far as like wish list characters and the console specific stuff, Marcus Phoenix showing up in the Xbox one, that'd be great. Maybe you get Kratos in like you did with MK9 for the PlayStation version.
Well, I will say one character, and you can continue that. Ed Boon. He put it on Twitter. He's like, "Would you love to see Terminator?" Fuck yes, Terminator.
Terminator
yes!
would be cool.
They also said there will not be a game of Superman either, Jago.
But see, because I even have like my own wish list of characters. Like, you want to go on, I could go on forever. Like anyone
wants all their favorite characters in the game, but you know what I mean. It's we'll see. It is what it is. It's like last night I put on Twitter, "Don't get your hopes up for Spawn."
Well, right. I mean, everybody take that with a grain of salt and be cautiously optimistic. I mean, like one of my wish lists I know would never happen would be like Judge Dredd if you're going to go comic.
Oh, yes, Judge Dredd.
Yeah, but he's like 60 now. He's like, fuck, he can't do it. He can't
but
fucking
Judge
pull the
Dredd
combos
is still a freaking badass, man. You know what I'm saying? He's like my favorite comic book character.
Here we go.
But that's as far as wish list goes. I mean... But
he's Judge Jerry, an executioner. I'm Judge
exactly. He would fit.
I think just put Captain Cool quick in there and I'm done with it.
Exactly. Hey, Stinking Corpse, what do you think about this?
This is sleep. He's fucking his missus. He's not even here.
That's later.
in a minute.
Time will tell on it. I mean, if he's in there, great. If he's not, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I think he'd be a perfect fit for it just because of the backstory and whatnot. I mean, why not? And for Todd to mention it, I wouldn't think that he'd be saying it just to say it, to kind of pipe up some sort of rumors and get everybody talking about it if it's not going to happen. It may not be right away. It could be just like a DLC character later on towards the end. We'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah, buy the premium edition and pay 20 quid for later for the rest of the characters. Awesome.
Yeah.
as I do it.
Bonus. Who knows?
All right. Well, no, very true. Very true. Now, moving on, I'm going to crank that over to our next topic, and this is a very interesting topic, to say the least. Now, in a stunning move, rapper Soulja Boy has launched a pair of consoles, one a dedicated console and one a handheld. And this is totally out of the blue, and the main console supposedly has 800 built-in games, and the handheld has 3,000 supposedly. Now, that sounds amazing, right? Right, everybody? Well, multiple gaming outlets are claiming that the gaming line is a scam and they're just cheap emulation boxes. Also, that there's no official lists out there for the games, if any, and there's no official licensing. Now, panel members, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something consumers should definitely watch out for, or would you be interested in picking up one? What are your thoughts? And I'm gonna start with Jago on this one. Let me hear you, brother.
I'm gonna be totally honest right now. I think every consumer out there really needs to just like forego the PS5 and the Xbox 2, and you need to pick up the Soulja game console because it is cutting edge, and it says Soulja Boy on the box.
It's just like Chocolate Boy.
No, please don't buy that. Please don't waste your money because these are just rebranded consoles that have already came out. The 800 game wannabe Xbox Chinese bullshit from Soulja Boy. Don't get me wrong.
Chocolate Boy. Hey, Jago.
Yeah. Ready.
Beer. Gotta do it once in the podcast, for fuck's sake. Come on, crack on.
No, the 800 game home console for whatever price it is, I can't remember. It weighs a pound, guys. I mean, what does that tell you? There's nothing in the box. If you don't know who Mad Little Pixel is, you can go watch his reviews. It was such shit. He took a hammer to it, and because he said I had to open this up. I thought I was going to do it the correct way, but no, he did it the perfect way and opened it up with a hammer. And there's nothing in the box. Nothing. It runs games like shit. And then the handheld. If you want the real version of the handheld, it's out there. I can't remember what it's called right now, but do not buy the Soulja game handheld. And now he's got the Soulja game fused, and it was actually a real console that was supposed to come
look it up
a couple of years ago to compete with 60 and PS3, and they actually had some backers like God, I can't think right now. I can't remember.
What about Jacob?
No, he's got the Soulja game fused too. And so it was normal price is $650. Now he's selling it for $400. If you go look at his website, you'll see it. It was supposed to compete with the PS3 and the Xbox 360 or something. He actually has Ubisoft and a lot of other developers that were back in that console at the time before Soulja Boy put his name on it. But it's just dude, do not waste your money on that garbage. And now he's got this little tiny little like mini handheld.
Has it got a tiny Soulja Boy, Jago?
I fucking know. I don't give a damn.
Has it got a tiny Soulja Boy?
I don't know, but no, it's garbage. Do not fucking buy into the Soulja Boy shit. I don't think anybody watching this podcast is going to buy it anyway.
Didn't it get sent down or something?
Yeah, it's fucking. Just stop. I mean, it runs all the consoles run the the emulation like shit. It's a joke. Is Soulja Boy trying to make himself relevant again? Let's be honest, because he was a one-hit wonder with Superman.
It's just like Chocolate Boy.
Whatever. But yeah, that's
all right.
Even at least Primal gets it because she's laughing. You know what I mean? Awesome.
All right, Mr. Boomstick, have you seen these little handheld in the console, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm going to be the shortest one on this particular panel with this. The guy is a hack. The fact that anyone is even reporting on this is a shame. You know what? This is one of those particular instances that this guy is screaming for attention. Yep. Anyone that even takes 5 seconds of their day, you really just wasted that 5 seconds you'll never get back in your life. Don't read the stories. No one cares about Soulja Boy. No one cares about his Chinese knockoffs. Nope. Let the guy just go into obscurity and just fade away into black because, this is I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, this is someone who is trying to become relevant on the back heels of gaming, and obviously, you know, unless you're Nintendo, your Xbox, Microsoft, or your Sony, you're not relevant.
This is actually a bigger cash grab than Sony's PlayStation Mini. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, I mean, listen, they're both cheap, but this, I mean, like I said, this, you know, he again, he went from a handheld to the first it was $650, now it was $400, then it was a handheld, then it's a full system. Don't take this guy serious, please, and don't waste your time. I mean, there are so many fantastic YouTubers that you can actually go and click on their channels and get real news, like that UK Dazarus. There you go, good point.
Someone's got to plug it
and get some real quality news with people who are actually gamers, not this hack of a dude. I'm sorry.
You didn't hear about he's trying to start his own esports league.
Yeah,
he's trying to get Ninja.
Yes, I read that prior to coming in. I meant to. Thank you, Jago. That was good. Yes, he wants to start his own esports league. So just goes to show you that, my God, please just stop.
Yeah. Just stop.
Yeah,
hey,
definitely.
my Forza skills are up to esport leagues. I'll tell you. Come beat me, bitches. Come on, let's do it.
Now, Proto Foxy, you were pretty interested in bringing up this topic. How do you feel about all this? Him making these little spin-offs here.
And the thing is he's not even making these. These are and he's not even rebranding them. This is all just straight up drop shipping. He's almost like the middleman at this point. Well, not almost. He is. He's like the middleman at this point, because you can get these from. And I won't mention the websites because I don't want anybody giving these, you know, third-rate hack job you know, emulator consoles any money, but you can find these.
Yeah,
and
they're like, for real consoles.
Oh yeah, they are for real. And again, they're on websites and you can find them. And actually, it's funny, the websites you can get them directly from are actually cheaper than getting them from Soulja Boy's website. It's funny because not only is he opening himself up to just the ridicule, because he's genuinely serious about wanting to get into this whole video game thing, you know, with the whole esports team. Now he's trying, he wants to contact and contract Ninja, one of the big names in esports.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Oh dear. But on top of that, it was like these first two that came out, these were like real bad, like emulation boxes at that. And a lot of these ROMs are Nintendo ROMs. It's like this, it's like illegal. And again, we mentioned Nintendo going after hackers earlier. It's like, you think that you're going to be that untouchable. I mean, the only legit, and I say legit very loosely, the only legit console he's, you know, hawking through his site is this Fuse box. And this Fuse box isn't even a real console in terms of, like, the big three, right? This it's actually an emulation box along, an Android emulation box along the lines of like a Ouya or something. It's like you're going to be downloading and streaming these games. But, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous to me. I mean, it's humorous, and it's going to definitely create a whole lot of internet memes for times to come, because this, washed up rapper is now all of a sudden wanting to get it, seriously wanting to get into the video game market, and he's hawking.
He's going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, he's going about it the wrong way, and he's hawking, third, not even second rate, it's third rate equipment. And and then he's upcharging on top of that. It's like, what are you doing? And then you're going to open yourself up to lawsuits, because yes, these emulators, they're running illegal ROMs at this point. I'm sure he didn't get the license for all these ROMs that are on his boxes.
Dude, he's selling the handheld, I think, for $150 or something.
And you can get it for like $80.
No, you can get it for like $40.
Oh,
it's like $40 for.
Oh, okay. Then because there's a couple of prices vary, because I've seen a couple of sites.
But that's how bad the inflation is on his website. It's terrible.
It's ridiculous. And then I'm going to say it right now. And obviously our audience and everybody in the chat and everybody, they're way too smart to fall into this trap. But if anybody falls into this trap, it's like shame on you. You know.
You must be
ridiculous.
a Soulja Boy fan if you fall into that damn trap.
Yeah,
Just like
you've got a lot of serious rethinking of your life at that point.
Yeah.
Mr. Noof Nukem, are you going to be getting one of Soulja Boy's new hot ticket Christmas items?
He's got it ordered right now.
Hey, fiddly diddly, sign me up, because I like on that piece of plastic piece of shit, fucking Soulja Boy. I'll fucking show you Soulja Boy. God damn it. No, man, I won't be buying that at all. Not even a consideration. Look, it looks like shit. It's probably a ton of shit. A ripoff for sure. I'm not a Soulja Boy fan. Like I said, maybe if somebody is a fan, they're probably going to buy it.
You got a poster in your bathroom. Don't lie.
Your money and spend it on things that matter, or buy some legitimate games or a legitimate console. Don't even waste your stuff with this knockoff crap. Yeah, like you said, it's basically an Ouya box, fucking, I don't know, emulation box with the controller attached to it. So that's all I can say, man. It's just a waste of money.
Like a mini console.
Hopefully, that gets out in the wild and people don't waste their hard-earned money on that junk.
Exactly. Miss Primal Eve, are you going to follow in Nukem's talk there?
Squeaky.
Squeaky.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of sad because what audience is he really targeting? Because anybody that knows even just a little bit about
he's targeting totally fucking retarded, ignorant audience.
It's people who have zero knowledge whatsoever, and they're all gonna fall into it because of his name. And it's sad and it sucks, and unfortunately, there's no one that can save them from that.
Good luck.
Like you guys were saying, he didn't even do anything. He took something he found on Amazon or eBay and was like, "This is a great idea." How could you really think that gamers are going to be interested in this whatsoever? It's bad. It also kind of irritates me that I read the article that you posted.
Maybe he's a casual.
In our chat, well, no, but and then he calls out and saying that he's the best out there. That anybody who plays COD, Halo, or Gears will be owned by him.
Yeah, right.
That kind of itches me. it hits me in the wrong way. It's kind of like
I can rub that H5, baby.
But yeah, so he has zero knowledge of what's going on. I think he just
what he's doing, Primal.
Games are growing, and he's taking advantage of that. He's taking advantage of people who have no knowledge of it. So it's a shame.
He's taking advantage of them soccer moms and the kids that stay on the internet that are 10, 12 years old in their rooms by themselves, PCs, and like, Mom, Soulja Boy! I don't know what kid.
That's obvious. Yes,
I don't know what kid at 10 and 12 years old are going to scream Soulja Boy, but I mean, oh, Mom, Soulja Boy!
My kids jiggle the twats, don't they?
But that's what he's doing.
And I'm going to pass the mic over to our Superman, our bones here, Mr. Stinking Corpse. Corpsey, are you going to be collecting this console?
He is.
Say no, Stinker.
No, fuck no. No, it was. When I first heard about it, I thought it was a joke. Now that I've seen it, it's a fucking joke. It's just stupid of his part to be like, Proto was saying, he's the middleman. And he's got this upsell on it, so he can make some money off of it, and it's just a joke. I mean, there's always going to be those knockoff consoles, those Chinese knockoff consoles. They're trash.
Yep.
Just fucking stick with an Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo if you must. Just buy that shit.
All Soulja Boy is the guy collecting the money. He's doing no work. The company in China is doing all the work, and they slapped his likeness on the box, and he just collecting the money. And I hope he gets his ass in trouble for all those pirating bombs.
His likeness isn't even on the box. That's the thing.
If you watch Mad Little Pixels review. Yeah,
no, that was a mock-up. You could actually when you break it down and look at it, it's literally like he cut out and it's a bad cutout on top of it.
Okay, but he's gonna be the one who bears the brunt of this because he put his name on it, and the people the manufacturers in China, there's no rules or regulations.
He just put the bullseye on his back at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's going to be the one to bear the brunt of it. He's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
Absolutely. And UK Daz, you got anything to add to this before we?
Yeah, fuck it. What everyone else says, bullshit, whatever. You know. All
right.
What a load of fucking bollocks. You know what I mean? Attention-seeking bullshit. Who cares?
Yep.
Very eloquently put.
Exactly. Yep. And you know what? I mean, honestly, this just opens it up for Snoop Dogg to come out with the
It's like, I smoke weed every day.
I love the green console. Smells like weed.
When's Vanilla? It has like a little grinder on the side.
I just want to know, guys, when's Vanilla Ice making the Ice Cube?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I would buy that on principle alone. That would be amazing.
Don't give me ideas for a video.
As soon as Snoop Dogg comes out with the hot box.
I'm buying ice cream.
Hey, I drive a hot tub, if that makes you feel better.
And then when you turn it on, it says, ice, ice, baby.
No, I don't. It doesn't when I turn it on.
All right, so I'm going to move on to what's our last topic of the evening, and this is going to be the Christmas segment. So, naturally, this time of the year, it fills us with all kinds of warm emotions, and we're surrounded by...
Yes.
Exactly. And we're all... Yeah. And we're surrounded by family, friends, and of course, all kinds of the festivities going on, right? And we all have these stories and special memories to share that are related to Christmas. And as gamers, we tend to have like just really awesome, memorable moments in relation to this. So I'm going to ask the panel, what are your best Christmas gaming memories? What was significant to you? What's like a very special moment to you? And I'm going to start with our first guest, Mr. Boomstick. Do you have a special moment to share with us from Christmas?
Well, yeah, I do actually, but it's not gaming related. Actually, to be honest, it's probably one of my personal favorite moments from when I was a kid. Back in the days, if you remember, GI Joes were very big. In the States, and more specifically the 3 3/4 GI Joes, the ones that were on the 80s cartoon, those GI Joes with Cobra Commander, and the rest of them. And I remember in 1982 for my 12th birthday, I wind up like just going to like Play World. It was back in the days. I don't know if anyone remembers what that was. And I wound up getting the Vamp and 2 characters. Clutch. Someone had stole the driver Clutch, right? So I wind up, they said, okay, well, you can take another one. So I wound up getting two other ones. I think it was Stalker, and I wound up getting Snake Eyes. I picked him, because he was dressed like a ninja, so I was into that. And so those are the 2 characters. But later that year, they every 6 months they had a new set of figures come out with a bunch of new vehicles. And I think it was holy matrimony.
Sorry, I was having an argument with my surroundings.
And and what wound up happening was my favorite vehicle of all time was the Killer Whale, which was the hovercraft.
That thing was so cool.
It's still my favorite. And what wound up happening is my dad accidentally opened the trunk where it was supposed to be hiding. And I kind of got a glimpse of it, and he closed the trunk. Okay, did you see anything? What? See what? What? I thought it was kind of pick up the groceries, so I played it off. But that whole leading up to that Christmas, I knew I was getting the Killer Whale. And I still, to this day, I played it off so slick. Like, I literally ran around the house carrying that thing on top of my head, even though I knew I was getting it. But I wanted that vehicle so bad. It came with the driver, as we used to call him, Cutter. He was wearing the orange life vest with the light blue shirt. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Man, it was just still to this day one of my most favorite Christmases. Even though, like I said, it was slightly, ruined a bit. But it was on the list, and I knew I was getting it, and I could not. I kept that vehicle for years, up until like when I was a teenager. It was one of my favorite vehicles from that era of GI Joe.
Oh wow, that's really something. I mean, wow, that's a really special story for you to tell us, Boom.
Whose phone's going off?
Oh, probably Jago's.
Probably mine.
You're fired.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Oh, Boom. Sure, no problem.
Daz, UK Daz,
Yo.
our other special guest. Do you have a special story to share with us? Any gaming memories from around Christmas time, or just any special memory, really?
My first Christmas, my first computer, not a console, was the Commodore 64. It's like that. I will always remember that. I went into town in the UK, in the game, if it's still in chat, I remember Tandy, where they were selling the Spectrum and the Commodore 64 and shit. I went in there and I said, Mum, I want that fucking Commodore 64. And she got me it for Christmas. You know what I mean? And that's what set me in gaming, because they had Ghouls and Ghosts on there, Outrun and shit like that. Wonder Boy, whatever.
Oh, Wonder Boy was rad.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the Commodore 64 was the fucking tits knees, mate.
Oh, it was back then. Oh, hell yeah, back then, man. I loved it.
Yeah. And then my so-called father, who fucked off when I was 1 year old, come back when I was 10, and he says, all right, son, what do you like for Christmas? I looked at the mum, and I'll just take what you want off him. So I'll have the latest console, yeah? And they give me a Master System. So I went from the Commodore 64 to a Master System, and here I am now as an ultimate gamer. So there you go. There was my prize-pressing fucking Christmas memories.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us, Daz. Very
fuck 'em. You know what I mean? Yeah, but big shout out to my mum. She's the one that brought me up on her own. Other motherfucker that fucked off and he come back when I was 10. Fuck him. Yeah, I'll just milk you for the latest console, which at the time was the Master System. But yeah, the Commodore 64, baby. That's why you'll always see me going on about the Commodore 64. There you go.
All right, there we go. We learn something new every day.
There you go.
Oh, Noof's back. Mr. Noof Nukem.
Hey.
You there, bud?
Hey.
All right. Let's move on to you. Do you have a special story relating to Christmas and gaming, or just a special story that you would like to share with us just all around?
Well, let me just first say that, you know, as an adult, Christmases for gaming to me are honestly, they're not as cool as they were as a kid, right? Even though our consoles have gotten better and graphics have gotten better and all this stuff, you know, that part, they're not as cool as they were when a kid, because as a kid, obviously, we didn't have our own incomes unless it was an allowance or something like that. So you really cherish the video games that you often got. And a lot of times, in most cases, when you got a new console, you got maybe even more than one game. It was at Christmas time, right? Yeah. So over the years, yes, I've had many different games given to me at Christmas and stuff like that. It was always my favorite thing to get. But the one particular year in particular was like just before I kind of got to the point where I had my first job and I moved out, and I wanted a PlayStation 2, and I didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't have the money for it, so I kind of mentioned it to my mom. I was like, Mom, you know, I'd really like to have a PlayStation 2 if you're getting me something this year. And you know, I really didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't even know if she could afford it or not that year, and she kept it for a surprise. And basically, I was going through gifts, right? And you know how you look at the gifts, and sometimes you can kind of tell what might be and what, right?
Yeah.
So I looked under the tree, and you know, you're kind of going through all your gifts, and I'm counting them up, and I'm looking, and I said, nothing here looks like a console, or even feels like it would be a console, right? And because my mother knew me too well, too, I was one of those little shithead kids that would go in the closet and pick through all the gifts and pick a piece off the wrapper to know what I had, right? Yeah. So my mom was smart this year. So, you know, she basically hid it away. I think she had it kept at somebody else's house. So she brought it out that morning when all the gifts were basically open. She said, oh, one more thing. I forgot one thing. I do have something here for you. And sure enough, she brings out this box and said, you can open your last one. And right off the bat, my face kind of lit up. I was like, yes, I think it's you know, and I pulled the wrapper off, and sure enough, it was a PS4. I think it was the one that came, or PS2. It was the one that came with I think it was Gran Turismo A-Spec.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that one. So that was kind of a cool thing for me. It was, you know, it was one of the, I think it was literally the last console that my mother ever bought for me. Everything after that, I pretty much bought myself.
I must be a lot older than you, Newfie.
No, I'm 42.
Fuck, I'm 43.
I'm 41.
That was kind of
hey,
cool
rival baby, we've got years of experience here. Take you all at once.
But yeah, that's probably like the coolest story I have in terms of Christmas and gaming. Like I said, they're not as cool now because we basically buy everything we want. I mean, I have consoles long before. Like last year, for example, I was tempted to leave my Xbox One X for Christmas just so I'd have a cool console to open up during the holidays. So I can't remember the last time I actually opened a console on Christmas Day. I get all that shit in advance, and then come Christmas morning, you're like, well, there's nothing really exciting for me to jump into. I've pretty much played all.
It's all the kids now, new thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
what
once you
it
get
is.
kids, it's kind of like, I already got it all. So it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
It's like me, Vader. It's like me. It's like our lass will go, what do you want for Christmas? I don't fucking know. And she'll just give me a 50 quid game or a 50 quid voucher. You know what I mean? What does she want for Christmas? Oh, here you go. There's 50 quid. Defeats the object, but there you go. You know. It means shit to us adults, but to the kids, it's different.
Exactly. And Noof, thank you very much for sharing that story. That's very real and personable. Thank you very much. Primal Eve, do you have a Christmas story that you would like to share with us?
I've got something for Primal. I've got something for Primal.
Oh boy,
I'm stuck between two. I know.
Yeah, go right ahead. You can share both if you'd like.
Well, really quick.
First,
my about, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 years ago, my dad bought me a PlayStation with Final Fantasy VII. And I remember not having a memory card and not being able to shut off the system forever until we figured out that we needed a memory card. But because of that made such a huge impact on me. And like every year after that, he would buy me the Final Fantasies and stuff like that. And so like you guys know my daughter's name is Eris. I have Moogle tattoos. I have an Eris tattoo. Like it all means a lot to me. And it's something that like, I don't know, JRPGs are my favorite thing. And it was because of that moment. That's what changed everything. And I wish he was still alive today to kind of see everything that's going on. And then my second thing would be this year. I've had a very rough past 10 years. I've lost my collection of games. They were either destroyed or I had to leave them behind. So of everything I have now, I've been very thankful for to have friends help me out and stuff. But somebody bought me my favorite game of all time. And it's Shadow Hearts 2 Covenant on the PlayStation 2. I don't even have a PlayStation or anything, so I can't even play it. So it's just the fact that I have it again means a lot to me. So those are my two things.
Nice.
Awesome.
Awesome story.
Wow.
It's like
well, no, because I don't get Christmas presents anymore. And
no, I don't. I'm too old
at all, right? Like I haven't gotten presents in years. So to have somebody who knows my background to do that for me means a lot.
That's a
really
great story.
Yeah, like
awesome.
Every year seeing my kid have everything that I've worked hard for to get her is the best Christmas. So
stop it.
Hugs, Primal. Hugs.
Lots of through the screen internet hugs, but
there's more than hugs, Primal baby, coming your way.
Yeah, sausage more or less. But no, thanks for sharing that, Primal. That was very touching, and thanks for sharing that. Mr. Jago Kukin, do you have a memorable gaming Christmas story, or just any story really that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, of course, my brother. My most memorable. It's over many Christmases. It's nothing to do with game. I have one, but the most important one to me is about my grandfather. My grandfather owned a lot of land, and my parents lived on it. I grew up on it, and he had a cabin, and the whole family would go down there every Christmas and meet, his whole side of the family, my dad's whole side of the family would go down there. And I just love my grandfather so much. This is where this is coming from. I love my grandfather so much to this day, still to this. And my dad's dad, he was awesome. But it was just every Christmas he'd have this wooden Christmas tree he cut it out as a Christmas tree, and he would take the time to like poke these nails through it, like and then one at the top where the top of the tree was supposed to be, then 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 at the next row, and more nails as it got bigger. The Christmas tree got bigger, and then he put these gumdrops on it or whatever, and they had these little on the back of the gumdrop. He'd take his time and put these little numbers on it, and he would have the whole family go and like you go pick a gumdrop off the Christmas tree, and he'd have the gumdrops like different colored, like green, red, like Christmas tree colors. And no matter what you got, if you went and picked the top one or the bottom one or the one in the middle, the gumdrop in the middle, and it said number 20 or number 5, and you brought it to him, and if it was, you would bring that to him, and if it was 5, you bring it to him, he'd give you an envelope, and it could be $5, it could be $100, it could be $500. My grandfather, I mean, it was every Christmas while he was alive. My grandfather was such a giving man.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great story.
I'm telling you. Until this day, I get emotional when I talk about my grandfather. I miss him to this day because he was an awesome man. And my father is an awesome. He's my my father is my grandfather's son, and I try to be the man that my dad is and my grandfather is. And you get me talking about my grandfather, and it really makes me emotional. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
it's all good, Jago. You're doing good.
I mean, I have a lot of video game memories, but the memories of my grandfather mean the most to me. And I try to live up to my father and my grandfather, and I don't feel like I never have. So it gets me emotional because I want to be the man that my dad, God bless him, he's still alive, and he's a hardworking man, and he is 71 years old, and my grandfather died at 77 on his birthday. He was the most giving man that I ever met in my life, and I just miss the Christmases that we used to have with my grandfather. And I still have my father, and he's an amazing man. And my dad, I don't even think he feels like he lived up to and he's an amazing man. I only think my dad thinks he lives up to how good my grandfather was, and he tries, and he's smart. But my grandfather and my father are such amazing men, and I just feel like I fail every day, and don't live up to how good they were. But those are with my grandfather. And those are my family, and the family together at the cabin are with him. There are my favorite Christmas memories, bro.
Oh, that's fantastic, Jago. Words can't describe the emotion coming off of that, and I think we're all truly touched by what you just
Absolutely,
shared.
That was great.
So thank you very much, and I think
emotional guys.
Jago, bro. It comes out in the community. Yeah, we all stand by each other and all that. You know what I mean? We're all family, so let your grandfather live on you.
Yeah, I try, man. He's such an awesome guy. From like a time I was like 8 to
you bring it out in him, so it's all good.
Well, you're doing him right, man.
Jago, you make it. Make a good point. I had to bring it up in the chat. He makes a perfect point. Cherish what time you have with your family. Cherish every Christmas, no matter how insignificant they may seem at times, because you never get that time back.
No.
All this time we spend playing video games is secondary to our families.
Yep.
And we should never lose sight of that, because at the end of the day, they're an infinite level, man. They're games you never complete. And cherish your family, your friends, and those times, because gaming is all part of the equation. But if you got a family that you can play games, that's even better. But just cherish them, guys, this Christmas. Tell people you love them. Don't take nothing for granted, because you never know when it's the last one. You really never know.
And don't get me wrong, guys. I have lots of like being a little shithead, like Noof, like sneaking shit, like. I when I was like 12, and my mom, I knew had bought me a Sega Genesis or whatever. And when I was for Christmas break, I would I like undid the tape and actually took it out of the box and would play it because I was off from Christmas, off for school for Christmas break. I would play it for the whole week, and then put it back in the box. So Christmas morning, it's like I'm like, yeah, I get a second chance, but I've been playing it for a week and a half.
That's just bad, Jake.
I can rap this as good as Mom does.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that too, guys, because going off of what Jago said, I have a similar story where, you know, I was really excited when Pokemon Blue came out. I was obsessed. I wanted to get into the Pokemon craze. And I didn't have a Game Boy either, so I asked for Christmas, hey, you know, can I get a Game Boy and Pokemon Blue? And, you know, I had a few days before, you know, I had Christmas break, obviously. And, you know, being the, you know, the little adventurous boy in the house, I looked under the Christmas tree. I'm like, you know, I can kind of, you know, presume, you know, looking at the boxes and stuff. And I slowly peel back the, you know, the tape and whatnot. And of course, there's Pokemon Blue. And oh, there's the Game Boy. And I take it upon myself to, when nobody's looking, to play Pokemon Blue. And by the time Christmas rolls around, I've already
completed it.
Pretty much. I've got all the Pokemon that I wanted and so on. And then, of course, yeah, you know, as Christmas approaches, I put it back into the box and I put everything back and I put the tape on exactly so it doesn't, you know, there's no creases, no nothing. And you know, I open my the boxes in front of my parents and they're like, you know, they don't notice anything. They don't notice anything, like anything happened. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And
what's for dinner?
Oh, nice. You got me GoldenEye too. Oh, no way. Well, you know, just something
cool.
Like that.
I didn't know I was getting that. Even though I already beat it.
And then Vader, you turned it on and said to you, you spent too much time on that, get off it.
But yeah, you know what, guys? Like, I mean, that is a pretty memorable story because I did really want Pokemon Blue, but at the same time, it's like going off of what you know, the other guys said. It's amazing who you miss. You know, family is really important, and the past couple of years, I've been without my grandmother, my mom's mom, and it's a glaring hole and what the traditions used to be around here. And you have to adjust to new traditions and don't realize how big a part of someone is of your life. Until...
When you lose a big, you know, a big person in the family, like a grandparent, and you don't realize how much that's going to change your routine as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not that. It's your mum's stone lock that has gone, and then your mum has got to take over that.
Guys, sorry to interject. I gotta run. I got a hockey game shortly. Plus, I gotta go pick up my mother-in-law from work here, so I'm running really short on time. So I just really quickly, I'll do my quick outro. I just want to say to everybody in the chat, and of course to this phenomenal panel and our special guest tonight, Mr. Boomstick, UK Dazzers. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever applies to you. You guys have been phenomenal. This has been a great year. I can't tell you how much your support has mean to us, whether you've been in our chat for 5 minutes, you're a first timer, you've been here every single time. I certainly appreciate the love that I've been getting this year. It's been amazing. It means a lot to me moving forward. Again, I hope that everybody has a safe and happy holidays. No matter what your ethnic background, what you celebrate, again, doesn't matter. Just be kind to each other, love each other, enjoy your time together, play video games, have fun, put all the bullshit aside and cherish those, like I said, that cherish you. And like I said, treat people how you like to be treated. Again, phenomenal panel. Love you guys. You mean the world to me. See Boomstick on Friday. It's going to be a fucking fun show. But outside of that, guys, I do have to run. I got to jet a little bit early, but duty calls and great show again to you as well, Invader. Thanks for hosting. Hopefully, Glitch gets back in the new year, and we will be back. I'll be back. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Anyway, take care. Have yourself a great night.
Later, Noof.
Yep. All right. Yeah. See you, Noof. And just to end off on there, though. She was a really big part of my life, and it's amazing. It's amazing who you miss, and then the holidays just kind of really amplify how much you miss them even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really puts life into perspective, and I just miss her dearly. I had said this on Prophet's podcast way back when too, and just to reiterate it, yeah, I really miss her. And gaming aside, it's you should definitely focus on family and friends, and the most important people in your life, because it really adds up to something. Moving on though, Proto Foxy, I'm sure you would like to add something. Do you have a favorite gaming moment around Christmas, or just a moment that you would just generally like to share with us from around this time?
I do, and it's not even mine from like being a kid. I had a lot when I was a kid. My mom was always real good to Glitch and Glitch can corroborate that when y'all talk to him in private. She always did what she could, because she raised Brian Glitch. I almost dropped his actual name. She raised Glitch and I, pretty much on her own, and she was a single working mom and all that. But actually, mine comes from being an adult, and it was I'm trying to remember the year, if it was 2013 or it probably had to be 2013. It was the Christmas I had gotten my son a Wii U. And it was really big. He had asked for it, and this was the first year I could actually take care of a lot of things on my own. I was actually in a good position at my job at the time. I was actually able to do a lot of the things I hadn't been able to do as an adult, because we're all adults here, right? And we all have rough times, and we go through rough patches, this and that. I got into a situation where things were really good. And, he had asked for it, and he had asked for a couple of games specifically. One was Sonic the Lost World, I think it was. And it was like, okay. And of course, he was younger at that point. So it was like, okay, I'm going to, he's still, he still believed in Santa. He's like, well, I'm going to ask Santa for it and this, that, and the other thing. And he did, and all of that. And just, getting around and handing out the gifts and stuff. And when I gave him that box, and he opened it up and he saw it was the thing he was asking for that year, and just to see his face light up was like
the main thing.
Yep, it was amazing. I was just like, oh, at that point I was like, I can die a happy man at this point. Just see my boy's face light up that way, So that was huge. That for me was always my favorite, because that was like the first year I could do things that I could take care of and not have to worry about sweating anything else after the fact. It was I could take care of it. He got exactly what he asked for, and he was happy, and that made me the happiest.
I'll tell you something. My nothing to do with Christmas or anything, but I've got Katie, my youngest daughter. We lived in another place at the time, and she was not used to anything apart from me, mum, dad, and brother and sister. Yeah? And this repairman come into the house, and he come upstairs to do something, and she looked at him, and she just ran to me, clinched to me, and that. I will never forget that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. It's anytime where your kids come up and they're as happy as they can be, no matter what it is. That means you done good. You done right.
Yeah, I will never forget that. She just ran to me, hugged me, and that's something that I'll take to the grave. When you see your last fucking moments, that'll be there. I tell you, no shit. Nothing to do with gaming, but there you go.
No. That's a great little story you have there, Daz. Very memorable. And speak about taking it to the grave, stinking corpse, pal. What?
He's asleep. Don't ask him. He's gone. He's asleep.
At least I'm not drunk. So.
All right, buddy. What do you have? Do you have a story that you would like to share with us from around this time of the year? Anything gaming related, or just otherwise just a nice story to tell us?
I mean, always what my family, what we always kind of did was probably about the week or two before Christmas, we always kind of took off and went up to my grandparents and and kind of celebrated Christmas before there, and just being around the grandparents, and majority of the time that the gifts that they gave me were just ones that my parents bought and just brought along and just put their names on, but kind of like add to that story you kind of said there, Invader, about, you know, you kind of get in there and I'd had a little X-Acto knife and I'd sit there and cut along the tape on the presents, whatever, try to slowly unfold without tearing any of the wrapping paper up. And yeah, I did that Christmas of 1985 when I got the complete set for the NES Nintendo that came with Rob the Robot. And
Rob the Robot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's there late at night. I'd get up, you know, and parents be asleep, which I'm surprised they didn't ever get up and catch me doing this shit. But yeah, I'd sit there, cut, you know, undo it, pull that son of a bitch out, and I'd sit there and play it. I'd be trying.
The best thing is you had to go back to bed and sleep and wake up in the morning to do it all again.
And then the thing was, Christmas Day, I had to act so damn surprised. Oh, I got a fucking Nintendo, you know.
Yeah, I got a Sega Genesis. Holy shit, Sonic!
But one story I do remember was, I couldn't wait to get up and open gifts. I don't know. I was probably 5th or 6th grade, and it was probably about 3 or 4 in the fucking morning. And I said, well, I just got up, said, fuck it, I'm just going to start opening gifts. And probably about 15 minutes later, after I'm in the process of just doing this by myself, there my dad walks in, just standing in his underwear. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm up there.
He's like, get your fucking ass back to bed.
Keep the base and shit.
I do think about that, and of course, thinking that I was so slick because I did that for years. You know, getting into my gifts, you know, with the X-Acto knife and trying to get the tape and retaping them up just perfect.
But that always knows best.
Yeah, Mom, she every year she reminds me, you know, about that. You know, you remember when you thought you were so slick getting into your gifts that we didn't know it? It's like, well, yeah, I guess, you know, but it wouldn't. Every fucking time I'd tear part of, you know, like a corner or something to get fucking torn, and then I have to try to.
They perfectly without it stinking baby.
I know. Then I'd have to try
to
turn it.
You know,
I'd have to turn it to where they wouldn't notice. You know,
that's how I was too, Stinky.
I mean, every single
they fucking know. They fucking know. It's about growing up, isn't it?
At the time, I thought I was so damn.
You thought you was fucking like 007.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking Splinter Cell Jago, baby. You know what I mean?
No, Mom was the one that knew all along. Dad, he didn't pay any attention to the gifts, how they were placed under the tree. You know, Mom, she probably took a fucking Polaroid picture or something of the fucking how those things were all set up, and if it was different.
Yep.
But yeah, for the most part, that's just it, and just kind of elaborate on what Noof said, and kind of with everyone's kind of emotional stories that just don't take anything for granted. Just be grateful with what you got, because tomorrow things could be.
My grandfather made a big impact on my life. I didn't realize how big he did. That's why I get emotional about him, and I didn't realize how big of a part of my life he was, and he was until he died. Until I got older, and it tears me up every time I think of it, because this time of year was like, I mean, I always had memories of my grandfather, but this time of year was like all the family together with my grandfather, so it like just hits me really hard.
Yeah, and then once you start losing those family members, and it starts dwindling down, and you start thinking of all those times when you're little or doing whatever, it kind of it does. It's going to tear at you. But
yeah,
I mean, you just cherish the loved ones that you got. Tell them that you love them, and spend as much time as you can with them, and don't take anything for granted.
Absolutely. Like what you guys are saying, like all these stories have been really wonderful, like such wonderful, like Christmas stories, just wonderful moments, and celebrating life and the stories that we've had from the past, and here's to making new ones, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And my friends, with that, it comes an end to the show, and this is the last show of 2018. Wow, I can't believe it's like 2000.
Yeah, me neither.
Already, almost. And just a heads up, we will be taking a few weeks off for the show, and then we'll kick things off right at a later date. We'll keep you posted on that for sure, but we'll be taking a few weeks off, bit of a break for the holidays, New Year's, Christmas, and so on. Yeah. And hey, a big thank you to everyone that came to listen in and participate in the chat. Like always, a great crowd going on here. And guys, thank you very much for participating. You guys always rock out. We have like some of the greatest fans, honestly. You guys are so passionate. Thank you very much. And we're going to go right to the outros. And to start off, a big thank you to Mr. Boomstick XL for coming onto the show. Dude,
you're awesome, Mr. Boomstick. Thank you.
Awesome. I love being here, guys. It's always a very fun show. It's a little more adult than what you get on what I'm used to. So,
You better get used to it, Boom.
No, I know, because we have some things coming. You like them apples.
We're not primal, baby. He said coming
in 2019. But yeah, this was great. A lot of great stories. Real. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mr. Boomstick XL. DMs open to all, because of course I enjoy talking with the community. If you're interested, please check out the channel, Double Barrel Gaming. You might notice a very serious change to the content. It has gone from doing videos to all live content. I'm up to as many as 4 times in a week, which I just did. I added something new to the channel called Double Barrel Gaming Presents. I'm very excited for that because it's my evolution of the community spotlight, something that I really built the channel on.
Yeah, I missed that. Boom, the community spotlight, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. I mean, well, what I'm going to do with this new segment is once a month, I'm going to have an entire crew from a particular podcast on, and we're going to spend. It's a 2-hour show. And we'll spend the first hour finding out about the actual podcast and its members. How they became friends. What led them to do the podcast, and then the last hour we'll be talking about gaming news, reviews, and opinions. And I got a lot of the first episode was with the Iron Lords podcast, and it was a
Lord be
Yeah, it was a really, really good episode. If you haven't listened to it, it is funny. You get to hear about Boom and the Mr. Lee days.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was good stories.
Great
King
stuff.
David.
I was there. I just didn't chime in. I told you Boom earlier before.
That's okay, dude. But yeah, listen, if you're interested, try out the channel. I think you're gonna dig it, and the new content all being live, I think is gonna evolve the channel even further.
Yeah,
fantastic. Thank you very much again, Mr. Boomstick, great friend of the show. And UK Dazarus, thank you for popping on here on short notice. Always great having you on here, bud. You're a riot, and you get all primal, all moist in the.
I've tried to behave myself tonight, but yeah, primal baby. If you ever want it, you know where I am. You know what I mean. So. Been a pleasure being on tonight. Just talking shit and a bit of passion along the way, family and friends and shit. So it's been a good night.
Yes, it has.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And where can everybody find you at, buddy?
You can find me on YouTube, UK Dazarus. For fuck's sake, come on, I went from 604 subs to 600 again. What the fuck's that about?
No, they would do. The YouTube was doing a purge on the 13th and 14th of December for all like bot sites that were attached to your account. So it wasn't like people were telling you to go fuck off. It was just basically telling. It was
there's nothing new, baby, if it did. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I've got branding on there now. I've got the fucking thing up, subscribe in that corner and all that sort of shit. So I'm trying to ump the conversation up. Wait till tomorrow. I've got a fucking what is it? A game rage video coming up tomorrow. You'll like that. I'm gonna make it as funny as I can. I tell you, that's gonna be funny. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Twitter at UK Dazarus, you can find me here, there, and every fucking way. But there you go.
All right, that's fantastic. Definitely sub to his channel, guys, if you haven't already. He's got some really, really entertaining content, plus just a good guy all around. And who do we got next? Miss Primally, please share where everybody...
Oh yeah, sorry, you can find me in Primal as well. Forgot about that.
I was waiting for that. Well, you can't find me in Daz, but
it depends.
Well, you might be into that.
Yeah, I do want to
strap it on, baby.
Oh, he's into pegging.
Okay.
Get him drunk enough.
I want to give a big thank you to the panel for being awesome as always, and also a very, very big thank you to you, Boom and Daz, for joining us. It was a very big surprise to see you, Des, here. So
hey, I had to do it, baby. I had to do it. It's not one of our most filthiest podcasts, but
oh no, this is probably the most PG.
Yes,
for everyone. Well, almost everyone rated show. And also a great big thank you to the chat, especially for you guys who have been here every single week. It's really awesome to have you guys support us and join in on our conversations. And if you would like, you can follow
conversations.
You would talking about the DMs. If you would like to, you can follow me on Twitter at PrimalEve, and then you can also come play with me on the Xbox. Also
oh God, it's gonna get you in trouble.
And then if you want, I really mostly just play single player games on the PlayStation, but if you want to stalk me or anything, it's also PrimalEve. So.
Hey, Primal, baby, I hear you would like to get fucked up in the FYU club. I hear. I saw this on Twitter.
Yes, I'm secretly getting ready for it.
Would you like me to kick the shit out of you?
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. Right, it's on, baby. I'm gonna make you fucking come. Right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
While, so
yes.
By all means, beat away. Dad.
Okay, you're next.
All right, that's a challenge, and I think he just accepted.
It's not a fucking challenge. I'm just gonna turn her on. I'm just gonna kick the fuck out of her face. You know what I mean? She'll be happy about that. So, jobs are good. You know what? She'll kick the shit out of me and embarrass the fuck out of me on Mortal Kombat. I'll not be happy with that. No, it's not gonna happen, Primal, baby. I'm gonna fuck you up. You know this.
Yeah, please. I don't like it easy, so go at it.
You're not gonna get it either, don't you worry.
All right. Jago Kukin, please tell us where we can all find you.
You can find me in my chair right now. No, I'll just get
falling asleep, walking in my recliner because I'm an old twat.
Yeah, I'm getting old, but anyway, I'm an old ninja. I look like the gray-haired Jago. If you have that color scheme on Killer Instinct,
you haven't got nowhere, Jago.
But anyway, honestly, I appreciate you, Daz, and Mr. Boom, man. All these people on the panel. You're my brothers and my sister. I love the Game Dosage Podcast. I love.
You know what I did to your sister, Jago?
Me too. That's between.
I think you made me let it go as well. Hey, Primal, baby, you're the sister here, by the way.
But I love
just go along with it.
I love it, man. Last week it really killed me. I could be part of the podcast because freaking snow and the internet, whatever. But I love all you guys. I love the people that hang out with us. They're here every week or they show up. But anyway, you can find me playing my Street Fighter Arcade What Up cabinet that I bought myself sometime.
You're still doing that, Jago. I ain't knackered it yet.
No. I'm not doing it every day because I'm not trying to wear the the paint's starting to rub. But
so are you trying to tell us it will wear out if you carry on doing it?
The paint will wear off. But
no, you can actually, Jago, real quick, dude. I don't mean to cut you off, but you can go call customer service and ask them for a cover. It takes about 4 weeks.
I already did. Boom.
Already did. Okay.
I already did, boom, and then they'll send you replacement artwork too with the cover as well.
Yeah, yes,
nice.
Yeah, but anyway, got that going. But you can find me here on Monday nights with this awesome panel, these awesome guests at 9 p.m. Eastern, my time.
Yeah, too fucking late in the morning for me.
You can find me on the Daz Cast once a month now. On Mr. Boomstick.
Oh, Jago, shut the fuck up.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, sorry. You find me on the desk.
Your damn spoilers.
I know.
I thought everybody knew that.
Who else is going on vacation, Jago?
Yeah.
Thought everybody knew that. Anyway, you can find me on the WDFC, which stands for Who the Fuck Cares, with Fastback, Witty Mass, Super Coop, and Daz, and Sting Corpse, and
that happened for a few weeks. I don't know what the fuck Snowback's playing that.
I don't know. And you can find me on Twitter at Jago Coogan. You can find me on Instagram at Jago Coogan. And you can find me on YouTube with my tiny little YouTube channel that I really don't do a whole lot with at the same name. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. Panel and chat.
All right. Some good words there. Proto Foxy, buddy, where can everybody find you?
The usual places, man. First I want to say to Mr. Boom and Mr. Daz, once again, just great sharing the stage with you guys again. It's always a fucking pleasure.
It, brother.
It really is. Appreciate it. I want to say thank you all to the chat. Y'all are great being here every week and tuning in and being as loyal as you are. That's amazing. And I want to thank everybody as far as the Game Dosage podcast goes. I have been on, I want to say, pretty close to a year now, and it was around this time last year when you guys started taking me on.
Yep.
And
we took you on for sure. Yep.
Oh yes, you did, honey. But you guys, it was about a year ago. You guys took me in, and you made me feel right at home. And it's been one hell of a ride. And I look forward to it going longer.
Hey, Foxy baby, I'd like to say something and all. It's like, as you know, hey, Philo, behave. This is not dirty. We're just talking normal here. Right. This podcast goes on at 2 o'clock in the morning, where I am, yeah? Luckily, I'm on the razzle tonight, so we're all good. But normally, I'm asleep for work these days because they're changing work routines. Normally, I would be in the chat, chatting Primal up and all that sort of shit. You know that. But if I can't make the fucking chat, Fade the Baby, Foxy, Jago, all that, you know I'm not there, but I will listen the next day. You know what I mean?
I know, brother. You're a good dude, man. Love you, Dad.
You know what I mean? Because I used to be in the chat all the fucking time, but now I can't do it because of work. So otherwise, I'll get sacked. So
yeah, that's definitely not a good thing.
But, I'll still listen to it if I'm not there. So just letting you know.
Yep, I always do too, brother.
Awesome. But
cool.
Again, just want to thank you guys for bringing me in and thinking enough of me to have me on the show and be part of the be a part of the panel because it's been great. And
you're perfect fit, man.
And I appreciate that. And I got to tell you, when I came in, I was at a pretty rough point, and a lot of being on the show here with you guys and everything kind of helped keep my sanity. So I appreciate y'all.
No, man, I appreciate you too, brother. You're perfect fit.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Otherwise, you're finding me YouTube, Twitter. I'm on Steam as Wicked Lance. I'm on PSN as Happy Emo Puncher. That's where I'm at. And everybody out there who's checked out the show and everything like that, y'all have whatever holiday you celebrate it to the fullest, but be safe. Yeah. And we'll see you next year.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Of course. And Bro Foxy, you've been a wonderful addition to the podcast. And honestly, you got a great voice about gaming, and you've just, you've been a wonderful person in the community. So thank you for joining.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Of course. And of course, our buddy, the boner, Mr. Sticking Corpse, buddy. Where can everybody find you? And thanks for coming back on.
Nice to have you bone in the podcast tonight.
Yeah, boner free, Stinky baby. Is she at work tonight?
No. It's just waiting for me to get off of here.
So she can bone you. Nice one. Yeah.
No, man.
First off, I mean, it was great being on here, having Boom and Daz on here. It's been been a while for me to be back on there because of life and everything that work and get caught up in doing that. I've had a great time tonight. And you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox at Stinking Corpse. And PlayStation is XStinkinX. And then whenever I can make the Game Dosage, Retro Renegades, Dazcast, WDFC podcasts. And then whenever I do my random
Corpsecast.
Yep, monthly kind of corpse cast, which should be coming up unless I decide to put it off till January, but we'll see.
Yeah, do it. No, you can't do it on my birthday because we've got a special Dazcast on my birthday. Don't do it on there. Don't do it on the 13th of January. No plug intended.
Yeah. Well,
do it
the 12th and run it into the 13th, and who can stay up. But no, I had a great time tonight, guys, and like Proto said, just celebrate whatever holiday that you celebrate. Be safe, and we'll see you guys.
Enjoy your family, man.
Yep.
Enjoy your family.
Exactly.
Fuck the presents. Enjoy what you got.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Exactly. And of course, I'm Invader here, and you can find me on this channel, Invader Gaming, and of course, pretty active on Twitter at Invader_1986. And yeah, guys, it's been a blast. And on behalf of all the panel members, the Game Dosage Podcast wishes everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays all around to everybody. You know, enjoy the good times around this time of year. Be happy, be merry, and, you know, just celebrate life, all right?
Yep.
And also, stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next year for sure, all right? So take care.
Take care, everybody. Have a great holiday.
Game on.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
See ya, and if Glitcher were here, keep a tight ass.
Give me that.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.